since the Holocaust. Now, they were meeting in the same place,
Hello.
exactly the same place, where they
Let me see
celebrated
if my
this
microphone's
savagery
working.
almost 2 years ago.
We're
At the beginning of the
listening
war,
in.
I promised that Israel would
Uh-oh.
reach those who
Not working.
perpetrated this horror. And today, Israel and I have kept that promise. Now, much of the world, including much of the democratic world, or governments at least, have shamefully forgotten October 7th. But I don't forget, and Israel will never forget. Never.
I'm just using someone else's audio
There was a time
at
when
the
Jews
moment.
could be murdered with impunity, but since the founding of the State of Israel, those days are over. On this day, as in previous days, Israel acted wholly independently, and we take full responsibility for this action. And this action can open the door to an end of the war in Gaza. Israel has accepted the proposal put forward by President Trump to end the war, beginning with the immediate release of all our hostages, which have been held in the dungeons of Gaza for 700 days. If President Trump's proposal is accepted, the war can end immediately. We can begin once again to pursue the expansion of peace in our region for the benefit of all. But I want to close by directing my words to the people of Gaza. Don't be derailed by these murderous terrorists, by these killers. They don't care a hoot about you.
How dare you?
They live in sumptuous villas. You can't imagine how sumptuous. Away from this battle scene. Their partners in Gaza don't worry about you. They go to the underground tunnels and they keep you above ground so you serve as human shields for them. Don't be derailed by these killers. Stand up for your rights and for your future. Make peace with us. Accept President Trump's proposal. Don't worry.
President Trump's proposal? What proposal is it?
A different future. But
what proposal?
Got to take these people out of the way. If you do, there is no limit to our common future. Thank you.
Fuzzy. All right, well, hold on. I'm going to cut that one off. Oh, you stepped out of a dream. What is the proposal? Did something happen? And I need to look it up. Trump's? Did I miss something? Hamas welcomes Trump's Gaza ceasefire. Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, 7 hours ago, the Times of Israel. Israel has accepted Trump proposal for Gaza, ready to end war tomorrow. Well, then why did you bomb everybody today? Okay, wait, I'm going to read this. Hold on. Oh my God. Everything's everywhere all at once. Hold on. Go back. Try and fix this. You came out of a dream. Is that what it is? I mean, I'm guessing. Okay, hold on. I have this other thing. I have this other thing over here. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you believe it? Okay. This, whoopsie. This is, I don't know about the Times of Israel in terms of its bias. Forgive me for that. But let's see what they have to say because they said something. This was 7 hours ago. So I don't know if there's something more current. What the fuck? Okay. All right. I don't stop. No thanks. Okay. Israel has accepted proposal, blah, 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 Saar says. Okay. Israel said yes to U.S. President Donald Trump's latest proposal for a hostage release and ceasefire deal in Gaza, Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said during a press conference in Croatia. The war in Gaza can end tomorrow. We are ready to accept a deal that would end this war based on the cabinet decision, Saar says. He adds that Israel's government has two demands for the war to end, the release of all Israeli hostages and Hamas laying down its arms. Hamas disarmament ensures a better future for Gazans, for the Palestinians there, he continues, calling Hamas a problem for the Palestinians and for the region. The U.S. and Israel have yet to detail what the proposal entails, though some purported details have been leaked to the press, including the immediate release of all hostages held in Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and an agreement by Israel not to resume fighting. Channel 12 News reported on Sunday that under the new proposal, Israel's withdrawal from Gaza would be gradual, but would take place mostly at the start of the ceasefire. Negotiators would then have 60 days, or as long as it takes, to come to an agreement on the disarmament of Hamas, the specifics of Israel's withdrawal, and an alternative government for Gaza, according to the network. 60 days. Would be gradual, but would take place mostly at the start of the... So they would withdraw? Why do I not believe that? Saar also praises Lebanon's government for its cabinet's decision to disarm the Hezbollah terror group, calling it very important for the future of Lebanon. Israelis and Palestinians have suffered enough. As long as these terror states exist, as long as Hamas remains in power, the suffering on both sides will not end. Hi, Tom. Jen Griffey. Girlfriend, where you been? Fun. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the help. Believe me, it's a place for mom. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so that's what the Times of Israel is saying about the news. So we don't have the details really, but I can't imagine that they're really like super awesome for the Palestinian people. I mean, I'm just saying. And now what? Right? Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what do you do? Jiminy Crickets. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Tom. Good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a million years. And Jane is here, and Oomph is here, and Grace Lisa is here. Mama and J Rance. Ooh, 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 ooh. We've missed you, Jen. I miss you, Jen. I wanted to see you, but I couldn't make it work. Apologize. We're going to get there. Put one foot in front of the other. Ow. And soon you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other. And soon you'll be walking down the... Oh, wait. Out the door. I think Schumer has a Gaza Beach condo picked out. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. They are old geezers, not long for this realm. Tom, you missed our Lord of the Rings marathon on Saturday night. What the hell? Aw, we missed you, Jenny. Jenny, wait, do I have your Jenny thing in here? I don't think I even have it in here. Wait, hold on, I can add it. Because I'm that bitch. I am that bitch. Watch me. Da-da-da. There it is. Oh, yeah. I want to be like Jenny. Um, yeah, Tom, we're doing it again. We're just gonna keep doing it. It's gonna keep doing it. Yeah, you missed TLOTR. Legolas, what does you see with your eye, Legolas? Fucking elves. If you know, you know. What else? What are the other shibboleth from that? Don't stop. I'm not. We're gonna do it we're definitely gonna do it every year. It's gonna be an annual event. It's gonna be an annual event. Yep. I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, the annual Lord of the Rings overnight slumber party. Next time we're all going to have to dress up. Yeah, in 6 months. That's true. We'll do it in 6 months. We'll do it at the height of winter, you know. Oops, like god damn it. Oh, I wanted to figure out, wait, hold on. I got to figure out what the fucking yeah. What's the documentary for tonight? I thought we had a great suggestion and now I had a couple, I think. Shoot, hold on. Hold on to your love. How to Start a Revolution. That was one. How to Start a Revolution, I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay. That's what we're going to do. We're doing Gene Sharp, How to Start a Revolution. That's going to be our documentary tonight. Yeah, it is how we're starting. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm a little all over the map with choosing them, but yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do How to Start a Revolution is tonight's documentary. It'll be up. All the links will be up on my socials. So make sure you don't miss it. Don't miss it. And then tomorrow morning, I'm doing a wake and bake early. I was going to do a second, but I have a doctor's appointment, so I can't do a twice bake tomorrow. But there is a hearing later in the morning tomorrow, but I'll link it in socials today so that people have it on their radar. It's about the country Georgia, and I'm fascinated to hear what they have to say about it. So I'll link that so people have it. But I'm unable to do a second wake and bake tomorrow because I got this other thing. But no problem, because I can still share what it was I thought we might watch. Oh, and the jobs report being revised. Okay, so this is very interesting. The jobs report being revised down 911,000 jobs, which is the highest revision in the last, 20 years. Something like that. I think the last big revision was after the COVID and then the banking crisis in 2008, or mortgage crisis, if you will. So the jobs number being revised down. The interesting part is going to be in which quarter the job revisions take place of those 911,000 jobs. I mean, that's just for my edification because I'm kind of interested in like root cause of these revisions. And so we'll be watching for that. Unfortunately, apparently, according to Squawk Box anyway, I was watching a little debrief on it with one of the former Fed. Wait, was he? I think he was a former Fed chair or something. I don't know. But he was saying that you don't really get the detail of where those revisions fall until like February of next year or something crazy like that. So I don't know. Anyway, the point is, it'll be interesting to see in which quarter do these job revisions fall. Since everybody loves to play the blame game, although blame is relative. But for me, it would be more of a trajectory, a trajectory kind of thing. Yeah, boy, the South Koreans are not happy, I imagine. Oh, and LG, LG, what do you mean LG? Who's LG? Yeah, Come As You Are might have been fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we definitely need that. 2 devices. Oops, I'm sorry, I can't repeat that performance. The Trump administration notified our Europe allies that they won't fight Russian disinformation there. Oh, LG, the company? Oh, right, because of processors or something? I don't know. Crazy business these days. Let me tell you. LG Appliance. Oh, the appliance manufacturer, yep. They have the battery portion. Oh, the appliance manufacturer. Yep. They have the battery portion. Oh, the appliance manufacturer. Yep. They have the battery portion. Oh, the appliance manufacturer. Yep. They have the battery portion. Oh, the appliance manufacturer. Yep. They have the battery portion. Well, when are we going to arrest the companies for hiring undocumented persons? You know, how about that? Anybody worried about that, or do the companies just get to walk away? I mean, since we're going to have accountability and all, you know, then why isn't the people knowingly hiring people that are undocumented? What's going on with that? What about that? What about that? Yeah, it's ridiculous to me. Can I find a 1980s washing machine somewhere? I don't know. Can you? I mean, do those still really? I bet you they do still exist. They have plausible deniability as it's the subcontractors. I understand that, but you know what? From a supply chain, Tom, companies have supply chain, or some do anyway. Some have to adhere to certain supply chain requirements. And I think I could be wrong. I'm trying to think of contracting with subcontractors and, you know, that kind of stuff, vendors. I mean, I kind of find it hard to believe that there's not such. Imagine that may not be so uncommon against such subs. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be uncommon, but at the same time, so who's held accountable? It's just the workers who are willingly hired by these companies, thereby probably being fooled into the fact that they have some level of security, given the fact that they're working. Let's play this argument all the way out. Come on. That's how they would play that argument. I'm going to play it right back. Speaking of South Korea, did you see the New York Times article that the prostitutes are suing the U.S. military for abuses? I did not. Well, that's fantastic news. How far back are they going to go? I hope it's quite a ways. Craigslist for old school washers. Oh, right. Otherwise, get an old style top loader from Whirlpool in Indiana. Wow, that's oddly specific. Very oddly specific. Look how tiny that room is. That room looks so tiny. I can't believe it. Let me tell you what's coming up on second Wake and Bake. Twice Baked with Lolo. What's the name of this show? Let's see. I'm going to close that in case I hit it, unfortunately. All right, this is interesting. United States House Committee on Ways and Means Subcommittee hearing Untapped Talent in America, Removing Barriers to Work and Supporting Opportunity for Individuals with Disabilities. I just want to know what they really mean by that. So we'll find out. And then that's interesting. And then this other one that starts like about half hour after that. So that starts at 11 Pacific time, and this starts at 11:30 Pacific time. Meta whistleblowers testify on child safety research before Senate Judiciary Committee. So we'll probably switch over to that, and so we can listen in on that. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, 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 yeah. But first, we're gonna see Caroline. Why does this guy have a hat on? Isn't that kind of weird? Like, not good token yo. Can I do an all day? I probably will one of these days. I can't believe anybody would keep me on one of their computer tabs that long, but you know, stranger things have happened. But why is this guy wearing a hat? Okay, I'm not sure what is that decorum? I mean, not that, you know, I hate a good dress code. There's nothing I hate more than a dress code. Slumber party, this is the place to bet. Hell yeah, it is. We had so much fun, Jane. Come on. That was so much fun. I was so exhausted. That smoked. Dun, 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 na, 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 na. I don't know why I thought of that song. Oh, new media. I see. I wear my hat to the back because I'm new media. Oh my God. Everything's a lyric. Everything's a documentary. Everything's a lyric. Go figure. Well, I'm glad I bought weed yesterday. Let's put it that way. Where's Corinne? Where is she? I can't even see her in her usual spot. Or is this her? Wait, this might be her right here. Can you see my little pointer? You can't really see it. I don't think. Oh, it's not. It's really hard. Yeah, okay, there it is. I think this little blonde thing here is Corinne. Coringe. What did we do? What did we do? The song we did Jolene. And that was okay. And what's the other thing? Didn't we do something else that was? Oh, Coringe. The Coringe song that Oomph did is great. Oh my god, that's so haunting. That's so spooky. Ookie Ookie. I love that song. That's a good one. Coringery. It's on his. It's on Oomph's channel. Go to Oomph's channel. You will see musical greatness. Oh, I see Badger wants one. Wait, wants one what? What does Badger want? Badger. Oh, you want a 1980s? Yeah. I'm not sure why, but I mean, why not? It has inexplicably disappeared. What? What? Do we need to bring it back? Do I have it on my channel? Maybe I have it on my channel. I've got a baseball cap on right now. Aviators are overrated. I wear $2.99 OSHA approved sunglasses. Well, give that man a prize. I want to see if it's on my channel. Hold on. What the fuck? No, I don't think. I don't think I did. I don't think I put it on my channel too, but I guess I could have. Wait, let me search. Can I search? Let me see. Oh, I have it. Oh, wait a minute. Is it 10 minutes? Oh my God, that's a 10-minute song? Okay, I've got it. I'm going to link it. Hold on. Is it public? It's private. Why is it private? Why is it private? All right, I'm changing it. I have no idea what happened. All right, wait, here. I'm going to share it. This is our ode. Well, it's actually Oomph's ode to Corinne. It's not my ode. I can't take responsibility. I can't take credit for it. Not responsibility. I mean credit. Hold on. Don't. God, woman. Oh, wait, is that it? Wait, what? Oh, wait, let's play it. Wait, this is good. She won't start right away, so hold on. Oh my God, I haven't listened to this since we did it. That's hilarious. Okay. Here we go. I did the video. This is my favorite part. I didn't think I made him private. And don't fall in love with a streamer is? Oh, I might have made that private. I didn't think I made this one private. I love this one. I wonder why it goes over and over again. That must be a me problem. I know I sent you the finals of these. Are you kidding me? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I thought I sent you the finals. I'll make sure you get all the finals. I thought you got them because you would put this one on your website. Because I played it 3 times. Oh, whoops. I'm so sorry. Okay, I will get the simple single version to you. And I'll make Don't Fall in Love with a Streamer public again. It was a link to my video. Oh, okay. All right. 2 minutes until the briefing. 2 minutes until the briefing. But yeah, no. I'll go ahead and send you those copies so you have that. Oh, okay. Hi. Hi. Put your fingers down. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, Oomflow has a whole catalog of music, if you don't know. Our Lips Are Sealed is the hit. Oh, God. I wish I could re-record some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, wait. Oops. I need to save that. Save. Do-do-do. Let me make sure everything's like public. Hold on. All right. All right. Oh, wait, where's the actual video to that? It's not just like that, is it? No. No, it had to come. Hold on. I have to check and find. Okay, it's fixed. Yeah, okay, that one I might have done. That one I probably did. That I probably did. We also got a copyright strike on that one. Because apparently it started. Wait, what? Our Lips Are Sealed might be on my page. Check Oomflow. Oh, Let me see. Might be on lyrically. Oh God, here comes. Here comes.
Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness today. Thanks for being here. Another packed room. It's good to see.
Oh.
We begin with a scheduling update today. President Trump will commemorate the 24th anniversary of 9/11 on Thursday with a visit to the Pentagon Memorial in the morning, followed by an appearance at the New York Yankees game at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on Thursday evening. Next week, as you all know, the President and the First Lady will depart for their historic state visit to the United Kingdom on Tuesday, and they return to Washington on Thursday. Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention, the brutal murder of Irina Zarutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The President and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness. This monster should have been locked up, and Irina should still be alive. But Democrat politicians, liberal judges, and weak prosecutors would rather virtue signal than lock up criminals and protect their communities. And perhaps most shamefully of all, the majority of the media, many outlets in this room, decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative. Many of the journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink trying to smear Daniel Penny for defending a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City.
So this sounds like a lot of feelings.
But none of those same reporters lift a finger to write stories about an actual
sounds like a lot of feelings.
Here's the truth that every American must know. Too many innocent people
tragic
across the country
stories of
continue to pay the price
loss
of the failed experiment known
for your
as
own
cashless
benefit.
bail that has
I
been
think that's
championed by
gross.
the Democrat Party for years. All the way back in 2020,
That is a
North
Democrat
Carolina's
judge,
then
yeah.
Democrat Governor Roy Cooper established a so-called task force for racial
did they
equity
not
and
win
criminal
the
justice.
election?
Sounds nice, but it's not. That task
Yeah,
force
Ukrainians
was
in
co-authored
Ukraine
by
would
then
like to be
Attorney
safe, but
General
we
and
stopped
current
sending them
Democrat Governor
weaponry.
Josh Stein. It recommended, quote, reimagining public safety to, quote, promote diversion and other alternatives to arrest.
This is the distraction she
has. It also
has?
advised
I understand,
to de-emphasize some
but
felony crimes.
this is the distraction?
Prioritize, quote, restorative justice.
Daniel Penny
and
was the only
eliminate
dangerous
cash
person.
bail.
Sorry.
Democrats in North Carolina and nationwide
I
are
rode
consumed with
the
pushing a woke,
New York
soft-on-crime
subway
agenda, no matter how many
for 5
innocent Americans
years.
suffer
There's
as a
no
result.
reason.
Instead of aggressively prosecuting and locking up violent criminals, the Democrat-backed cashless bail approach lets
I
these
can't even get
criminals
it out.
roam
I'm
free
so
in our
excited about
country
it.
to offend again and again.
I can't even get it out.
These reckless policies have turned too many of American cities into hunting grounds for career criminals who mock our justice system, drain law enforcement resources, and wreak havoc on law-abiding citizens. Enough is enough, and that is why President Trump is doing everything in his power by taking action to undo these absurd policies. The president recently signed a powerful executive order directing the AG to submit a list of states and local jurisdictions with cashless bail policies, so that the Trump administration may identify federal funds that are being provided to these states and can potentially be suspended or terminated.
Whatever.
President Trump firmly believes that to
You say
maintain
that all the
order
time.
in public
You know,
safety,
they make a
we
lot
must
of threats.
incarcerate individuals whose pending
And they
criminal
do
charges
things, but
or
let's
criminal
face it,
history
they also
demonstrate
make a lot of
clear,
empty threats.
ongoing risk to civil society. This is a
that where the
common
crime
sense
rate's highest?
and
I didn't know
sensible
that,
approach
Tom.
that the vast
Mississippi.
majority of Americans agree with, and it's time for the Democrat Party to get
Yeah,
on board
Democratic
with what
lawmakers
is right.
were hunted
When these
and
criminals are
murdered by a
caught, they
Trump
must be
supporter.
prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and be
know,
sent
she
to
is
prison,
lying.
where they can no longer terrorize our streets. This is the mandate the American people delivered to
Why couldn't we
President
put
Trump,
him in
and it's a
prison? You know,
mandate
he's
he
a
intends
criminal.
to fulfill.
He's like a convicted
Staying
criminal.
on the topic of public safety,
Caroline.
new preliminary data released today by Customs and
Hey,
Border
Caroline.
Protection in August shows that President Trump has delivered the most secure border in American history. For the fourth straight
how'd
month,
she get
0
killed? How'd
illegal
that woman
aliens
get
were
killed
released
then?
into the United States by CBP. Nationwide encounters are down 93%,
Wait a
below
minute.
the peak
I thought
of the
they were
Biden
0.
administration.
Wait.
Border Patrol
I thought they were
apprehensions
0.
on the southwest border in the entire month
Excuse
of
me,
August were less
ma'am.
than what was apprehended in 4 days in
Ma'am.
August 2024
Ma'am.
under the Biden administration. President Trump has ended disastrous Biden illegal alien invasion, and he sealed our border in
he gonna
record
stop
time,
talking about it
keeping
in
this
that way
central
since
promise he made
he hasn't
to the
been
American
president
public?
for a while now?
With that, I will take your questions. Here in our new
I
media
know.
seat today, we have Michael Schellenberger, who is the founder of Public
Likes her
News with
lips.
nearly 2 million readers.
What about
and
Andrew
subscribers.
Tate?
Michael, thank you for being here today. And why don't you kick us off? Sure.
Thank you for making space for new media. Nice to meet all of you. It's great to be here.
Schellenberger.
And see if you could give some
Teresa.
insight into whether the president is considering additional measures against Europe and Brazil, not just for censorship, but also for preventing political candidates from actually competing in elections. We've now seen in Romania, France, and now
Oh
Germany
my
with Joachim
fucking
Paul
God.
efforts to basically just prevent candidates from being able to compete in elections. The president has shown some concern around President Bolsonaro.
Okay, Mike Schellenberger, total idiot, total cuck, total Kremlin asset, Matt Taibbi partner, punchable face, all of the above. Okay, so just so you know, that's what Michael Schellenberger is. And it's so funny to me that the first country that he says in his list of why didn't we let people run for office is Romania. You know, where they had to call off the election because of Russian interference. Schellenberger, fucking Kremlin cuck.
Who's being prevented from running. All of this is coming in the context of increased censorship of online platforms, of American platforms.
Yeah,
and
they
efforts
wanna
to
keep
censor
people safe,
Americans.
so they have
I'm
very
personally
strict
being investigated
internet
under a criminal
rules.
investigation with my Brazilian colleagues for publishing the Twitter files of Brazil. We're very grateful that the president has imposed
Yeah,
Magnitsky
see?
sanctions on the
Taibbi.
judge. Is the president considering additional actions given that it appears that they're going to end up with a conviction against President Bolsonaro, preventing him from running? Is he considering doing anything about this crackdown in Europe? I mean, it's shocking to see Joachim Paul, this mayoral candidate.
Why are you
in
such a
Germany,
fucking-
the criminal indictment
Why are you
against
such
him
a
cites
fucking,
him, quote, saying
why are
that he
you a
loves the
feelings
Lord of the
person?
Rings
I thought
as
you were a
reason why
journalist.
He's an extremist and shouldn't be able to run. So I just wonder if you could speak to that. And again, I'm grateful to be here. Nice to meet you all. And I'm grateful for what the Trump administration has done to
Shut
push
the
for free
fuck up,
speech abroad.
Michael.
Well, thanks for being here, Michael. We appreciate it. Freedom of speech is arguably the most important issue of our time. It is enshrined in our Constitution, and the president believes
Freedom
in it
to lie.
strongly.
We wouldn't
He
be here
himself
without it.
faced censorship in his road back to this beautiful Oval Office here in Washington, D.C., so he takes this very seriously,
Yeah,
as
meowing
does, I know,
start.
the Vice
Yeah,
President of the
that's what
United
he
States and the
means.
entire
He
Trump
means the
administration,
Nazis.
which is why we have taken significant action with regards to Brazil in the form of both sanctions and also leveraging the use of tariffs to ensure that countries around the world are not punishing their citizens in this way. And at the same time, the president is, while he's leveraging the United States to safeguard our interests abroad, he's also making sure that freedom of speech remains here in the United States of America. So I don't have any additional actions to preview for you today, but I can tell you this is a priority for the administration, and the president is unafraid to use the economic might, the military might of the United States of
Hello
America
again, Carrie.
to protect free speech around the world.
Quick follow-up to that?
Sure.
Quick follow-up, which is just, there was a Reuters story saying that the Trump administration was looking at this Europe-U.S. trade deal as one of the sticking points,
Yep.
this issue of the censorship.
I knew
not
he
just
was
of
gonna
US
get there.
platforms Of Americans. Do you have any updates on how those trade talks are going? And I also wonder if the president is concerned about NATO membership. NATO membership requires that you be a democracy and you have free speech. Is
Shut
it
the
possible that
fuck
some
up,
of these actions that we've
Schellenberger.
seen in Romania, France, and Germany would
I hate
disqualify
this
those
guy.
countries from being in NATO?
He is such a
afterwards?
smug
I have
bastard.
not heard the president discuss NATO membership in regards to this issue in particular, but I have heard him discuss the issue of free speech and the importance of free speech with foreign leaders around the world,
Importance.
including the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. When we were in Scotland, the president brought this up and how important it is for the Prime Minister to protect free speech in the UK and in various conversations with other world leaders. So he brings it up, and I think the entire world knows that this is a priority for the President of the United States. Gabe.
Thank you, Caroline. Regarding the Israeli strike in Doha, how much time or how much of a
Ursula,
heads up did
do
the
not
US
bend
get?
the knee.
Does the president support the strike?
Sure. Well, I have a statement to read for all of you with respect to the Israeli strike in Doha, and here it is. This morning, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that as Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. President Trump immediately directed Special Envoy Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. The president views Qatar
What?
as a strong ally and friend of the United States and
What?
feels very badly about the location of this attack. President Trump wants all of the hostages in Gaza and the bodies of the dead released, and this war to end now. President Trump also spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu after the attack. The Prime Minister told President Trump that he wants to make peace, and quickly. President Trump believes this unfortunate
crazy, Meowing
incident could
Star.
serve as an opportunity
That's insanity.
for peace. The president also spoke to the Emir and Prime Minister of Qatar and thanked them for their support and friendship to our country. He assured them that such a thing will not happen again on their soil.
And to be clear, the president disagrees with the location of the strike and that he passed that along to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
The president just confirmed that in the statement that I just read to you, which I spoke with him about before coming out here.
Caroline,
Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. So is the president upset with Netanyahu now?
The president made his thoughts and concerns about this very clear, and he spoke again both to Prime Minister Netanyahu and also the Emir and the Prime Minister of Qatar after this attack. And the president has always made it very clear that he wants peace in the Middle East, just like he sought that and accomplished that in his first term. He expects all of our allies and friends in the region, that includes both Qatar and Israel, to seek peace as well. And he wants to see that happen, and he's working with all of our allies in the region to get that done.
Are there any consequences, so to speak, for Netanyahu doing this, as it sounds, against the president's wishes?
What does this do to the
or at least
ceasefire
his
talks?
belief that it was appropriate? Is there going to be any directive from the president to Netanyahu in terms of what's allowed in the future? And also, is there any concern this could jeopardize the Abraham Accords?
Look, that's a decision only the president can make.
Look.
With respect to your first question. To answer your second question, as you heard from
Yeah,
the
didn't you
president,
get that
he said
memo?
he believes that this can serve as an opportunity for peace, and he's still actively and aggressively pursuing it with all of our allies and partners in the region. Jennifer.
Just to follow up on that, Caroline, are you able to say how often the president spoke to the Prime Minister of Israel before this? Because that's one question. And then what did he mean on Sunday when he posted, "I've given my last warning to Hamas," etc.? He wasn't talking about this strike on Doha?
No, he was not. As I told you, the Trump administration was
No,
notified
he
by
was
the
talking
United
about
States
the fact that
military
they're about to
that
bomb the
Israel was
shit
attacking
out of
Hamas,
Gaza.
And the president spoke to the prime minister after the attack, as well as, again, the emir and the prime minister of Qatar. And I know Secretary Rubio and Special Envoy Witkoff were present for that call with the Qataris as well. Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions for you on crime crackdown.
Sure.
Democrats have tried to argue that red states have higher crime rates while overlooking problems of high crime in blue cities. I'm wondering if the president would consider working with red
Or
state
is it
governors
they're
to
comparing
fix
data
high
and
crime in blue
that's
cities
the way
like
it is?
in Memphis, Tennessee?
But
So first of all, I want to get to the premise of your question, Reagan, which is being pushed by Democrats, that there is crime in red states. Of course, there is crime in all states, but the crime in these cities is all in cities that are run by Democrats. If you look at the list of the top 20
Wait, but
high
you just
crime
said there's
cities
crime
in the
in red
United States,
states, too.
every single one, with the exception of one in Louisiana, is run by
I do
a
know what you
Democrat.
mean.
And these Democrats have supported the same policies that I spoke about at the beginning of this briefing, like cashless bail. If you look at a red state, Mississippi, but a Democrat-run city in that state, Jackson, in 2019, Jackson, Mississippi, eliminated
Why is
cash
she
bail for
screaming?
virtually all misdemeanor cases. And while Jackson is not formally a sanctuary city, the state of Mississippi formally banned sanctuary cities, and this city has acted as a de facto sanctuary city for criminals and illegal aliens since 2017. Same thing, Birmingham, Alabama, a Democrat-run city in a red state. In 2017, the Birmingham City Council unanimously passed a resolution, quote, committing to establish sanctuary policies. So if you actually look at the facts from these Democrat-run cities, these are cities that are run by Democrats and by by members of the Democrat Party. These are blue cities, and they have all supported these disastrous policies which allow repeated
the faster you
career
say it,
criminals back
the
onto
less
the
you can
streets
be
to further
charged
commit
with in
acts of
Nuremberg?
violence. And so to answer your
The
question,
Pervitin
yes, the
makes her
president
feel
wants to
more
work with
persuasive.
anyone across this country who
Hi,
wants to
I'm on
end these
Pervitin.
horrible policies and to bring law and order
Yeah,
to our
exactly,
streets.
Meowing
And I
Star.
think
I like
that
how they
is
cherry-pick
proven
facts, but
by
they all have
his
to be rotten
tremendous
fruit.
cooperation with the mayor
This
of
is dumb.
Washington, D.C. and our nation's capital. And just
And you
look
know
at the
what?
results
That thing
of that.
about
And
the-
I do
that
have some
SCOTUS
updates for
thing?
you on the D.C. crime crackdown if anyone is interested.
I'm
There
not.
have been a total of 2,177 arrests made since the start of the operation on August 7th.
Where are all those people being
Just
housed?
last night, there were 57
Didn't you just
arrests
jam
made
up
in
the
Washington,
courts by
D.C.
doing that?
Of the 57 arrests, there were 14 illegal aliens who were arrested.
Don't they just jam up the courts by doing that? Isn't that just a problem for the courts?
Many of whom had prior criminal histories, and other arrests just last night in our nation's capital, so you all can be very grateful for this. Our
God.
great men and women of law enforcement, both federal and local, working together
Like the
as they
purge.
should.
She would be
made
really-
an arrest
she'd be
on a warrant
coordinating
for
the
assault
purge.
with the intent to kill.
That's what
the
this
subject
bitch would be
shot
doing.
2 adult males after an altercation. They made an arrest on a warrant for an armed carjacking. The subject assaulted an adult male in the face with a firearm and then took his keys. We also made an arrest on a warrant for simple assault and the destruction of
breathless.
property and subsequently charged with second-degree theft. Last night in D.C.,
Theft.
there was an arrest for possession of a
Pervitin.
controlled substance with second-degree theft. There was an arrest for possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. That subject, the person is also a
Is that a
subject of
crime?
interest in a homicide and a
that a crime?
carjacking. Last night in D.C., we also
I
arrested
know.
a felon in possession of a
So
firearm
dumb.
who was carrying that firearm without a license. So
Oh
these
my
are the career
God.
criminals. These are the bad guys that we are picking
thought
up
you
in
wanted
Washington,
people to
D.C.
have
every
guns
day.
without
The president
licenses.
would love
I
to
think
do
this is what
in
police
every
do all the
Democrat-run
time, isn't
city
it?
across the country, and he hopes that more Democrats
Yeah.
will call the White House to allow
Wait,
us to help them.
there haven't been any murders though, right?
Congress is poised to not extend Trump's federalization of the D.C. police. Mayor Bowser signed an executive order formalizing cooperation with federal forces. You just mentioned all the success that the operation has had. Does the White House believe that
Is this
the Mayor
sustainable?
Bowser's action is enough to continue the crime crackdown?
We are very grateful for the mayor's cooperation in this effort, and we look forward to continuing to work with her and the Metropolitan Police Department. Bloomberg.
Thanks, Caroline. The president says, he was planning to speak with Putin soon. Can we expect a phone call between the two leaders this week?
I don't have any phone calls to read out between you, the president, and any other foreign leaders. Ed.
Thanks, Carolyn. I want to ask about the benchmark revisions that came out. If you look at the revisions between March of 2024 and March of 2025, and do a
She's
little
going to
math,
blame it on Biden.
It averages out to 73,000 jobs roughly per month added to the economy, less than what was thought. When can we expect the Trump administration, now their policies are rolling out, for that increase, that average to increase?
Well, let me just say something about the revisions that came out this morning. And this was one of the biggest revisions in absolute terms in decades. And the benchmark year, March 2024 to 2025, shows that the job growth was vastly weaker during the Biden administration than ever previously reported. Between this revision and last year's, job growth was actually overstated by approximately 2 million jobs. And the Biden administration stood up here and vouched for that data and told you that data was real. And when President Trump calls into question the veracity of that data,
No, that math is not mathing, Cindy Lou Who. Okay? That math isn't mathing. It's not 2 million. It was an adjustment between March 2024 and March 2025 of 911,000 jobs, averaging about 73,000 jobs a month. Definitely one of the highest revisions in the history of BLS, blah, blah, blah. All right? But nobody can tell you right now what the quarterly breakdown of those job losses or those job revisions are. Because I just watched a guy who's an expert on it and a professor, and he said that comes out next year. So this 2 million, all this kind of stuff is the same as 300,000 kids are missing and 21 million illegal crossings, blah, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Please, yes, that's exactly the answer, Meowing Star, just smoke. This is all gross.
He did before he took the oath of office, and even now as president of the United States, he was ridiculed for that. And turns out this revision proves two things. Number one, the president was right, and this is why we need new leadership at the Fed. And this makes it very clear that President Trump inherited a much worse economy by the Biden administration than ever reported.
With the Bureau of
and it
Labor
also proves that the Federal Reserve is holding our monetary policy far too restrictive. Interest rates are too high. The Fed needs to cut the rates because of the mess that we inherited from the Biden administration.
Time frame. The president has said a year. Secretary Bessent said maybe the fourth quarter. When can we expect these numbers to increase?
Well, first we need accurate numbers. We need truthful and honest data, which is why the president took
that
the
data
monumental
comes
step
first
to try
and then the
appoint
reporting
and confirm new leadership at the BLS, so we can have data that we can actually rely on. And that's what the president is doing, and we hope that his nominee will soon be confirmed. Charlie.
You addressed the crime of Irina Zurika, and the president has done a lot to deliver justice for victims of crimes like that horrific stabbing. And the Epstein files are back in the news because a lot of Americans feel that that Jeffrey Epstein's victims never got justice. Does the president care about these victims? Do you think he can does he want to deliver more justice for them? And is he willing to meet
question.
with them?
The president cares about victims of all crimes, and that's why Republicans in the Trump Department of Justice have done more in terms of transparency when it comes to the Epstein case than any prior administration. And why are the Democrats all of a sudden caring about this? It's because they are desperately trying to concoct a hoax to smear the president of the United States. We have seen this time and time again. Ro Khanna and all of these other Democrats, they could have cared about those victims 4 years ago when Joe Biden was in office. They could have pushed for transparency then. Unfortunately, the Democrats are using victims as political pawns to try to smear and to push a hoax against the president of the United States. And I will get you numbers on the amount of child predators that this administration and this FBI and this Department of Justice have locked up under President Trump's leadership. We have done more than any president to protect victims of crime, especially disgusting, heinous sexual crimes. And that includes the deportation of illegal aliens who are perpetrating these crimes against innocent victims in our country right now today, and that
It's
remains
funny
a
to
top
see the same
priority
things
for this
happening
administration.
Does the president will
in
he meet with
UK
the
and
victims?
Canada as happened here with the whole immigration issue. I mean, I know they always existed, but they just are following such patterns.
Again, I read you a statement. The Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas. The president directed his special envoy Witkoff to immediately call the Qataris. And after the attack, he spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Behind you.
Guess what's back?
About the Epstein case, would the White House support a professional
I have to
handwriting
tune it.
expert review of the document released yesterday to prove that it's not the president's signature?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. And we have maintained that position all along. The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter. And that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to. Christian.
Thanks, Caroline. Following up on Ed, now that we have these revised jobs numbers, is the president concerned at all that price spikes, stemming from his tariffs through the end of the year might actually be driving the country towards a depression or a recession? What I'm asking is he committed to these policies now that we know how faulty the jobs data was?
The president is committed to his policies because his policies are working, Christian. And there have been a lot of people fear-mongering about inflation in this room, but it just has not come to fruition. On a monthly basis, CPI inflation has now come in at or below the market's expectation for 6 consecutive months, every month that President Trump has been in office. Overall, inflation has run at a 1.9% average pace in the president's first 6 months in office. I would have told all of you that in January, you would not have believed me, but those are the facts and those are the numbers. And we also see many other positive signs in economic indicators like real GDP. In the second quarter, it was revised up to 3.3%. That beat the market's expectation. We know there's a capital spending boom right now, which we know is one of the greatest economic indicators of job growth. We know wages are increasing at a far faster pace than they were under the previous administration. We see productivity in the second quarter was also revised up to a strong 3.3%. In total industrial production, factory output also surged. All of this means the economy is moving, people are working, people are spending money. You look at consumer spending, that is also ticking up and in the right direction. And a large part, it's because of the incredible work the president has done in terms of energy and unlocking our energy dominance in this country. Again, these jobs, the numbers from the BLS today prove that the economy was an absolute mess, and we are working every single day to fix it, and all of those indicators I just read for you are positive sign of what is to come.
Just one more quickly on
sure,
trade,
Danny.
I just wanted to get a bit of clarity on the sequence of events for the Doha attack and the notification. You said that the U.S. military notified, if I got it right, the Trump administration was notified by the U.S. military.
That's right.
Was the U.S. military notified by the Israeli military, or did the U.S. military detect an incoming Israeli attack on Qatar?
The U.S. military notified the White House and the President of the United States. That's all I have to share for you on that, Danny.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Also following up, you said that the president assured the leaders in Qatar that this would never happen again. Did he say that to the Prime Minister of Israel, and did Prime Minister Netanyahu agree to that?
The president told that to the emir and the prime minister of Qatar, and the president also overstressed the importance of peace in the region in his conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu as well. And Prime Minister Netanyahu told President Trump he wants peace and he wants it quickly. That's what the president expects to happen. The president is very clear in the statement that he just had me read, and you will all see it out on True Social very shortly, I am sure. The whole world will see it. He wants all of the hostages released out of Gaza, and he wants this war to end. Those are two clear directives that the president is making very clear for the entire world to understand. Mary.
But Qatar obviously has been helping to negotiate these ceasefire talks. Does the president think that Israel is undermining negotiations by striking Qatar? Is he concerned that Qatar's no longer going to want to play that intermediary level?
I think the president addressed that in the statement. I can read the whole thing for you again. I think it's very thorough because the president wanted to address all of your questions. We wrote, unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. So
Ukulele's back.
So you can't say that Israel informed the U.S.
What I can tell you is the United States military informed the Trump administration. Ouija.
Thank you. A quick follow on that. Can you tell us when the U.S. military was notified, given that
when were
the
they?
largest U.S. military base is in Doha? And then I have a question on D.C. crime.
This morning, just before the attack, as I said earlier as well.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
are you listening, bitch?
Yesterday, the president spoke about D.C. crime and talked about how there was virtually none. And then he expressed frustration about things that take place in the home they call crime. He said, you know, they'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this is crime. See, now I can't claim 100%. Exactly what crimes was the president referring to?
He wasn't referring to crimes. That's exactly the point he was making, Ouija. What the president is saying is that these crimes will be made up and reported as a crime to undermine the great work that the federal task force is doing to reduce crime in Washington, D.C. And I think the president has every reason to believe that, given the efforts of many reporters in this room who actively seek to undermine the president and what he's doing in our nation's capital.
Well,
we
but
all
then
know
he's not very
that
powerful.
deep inside you all agree with this because you all live here, and I'm sure
Hey,
you are very
stop
grateful
telling
for
us
the
what we
administration's
agree to,
efforts make the
bitch.
city, which we all reside in, much safer for ourselves and our families. Michael.
Thank you, Caroline. Florida Congressman Randy Fine is calling for judges to face consequences if the violent repeat offenders they release go on to commit new crimes. Is that something the president supports?
It's not something I've heard the president discuss. You can ask him yourself next time you have the opportunity to. How's that?
Caroline, one more question. On Thursday, President Trump will head to the Pentagon and also to New York City in honor of the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Has the president expressed any interest on creating or having Congressman create a new 9/11 commission to answer some of the ongoing questions many Americans have about that day?
I, again, have not heard the president discuss that. You're welcome to ask him yourself, but I do know he very much looks forward to going to both the Pentagon and the Yankees game in New York City on Thursday to commemorate the 24th anniversary. As you know,
Wait,
the
going to
president
Yankees
is a
game?
New Yorker at heart. He loves
To
the city very
celebrate
much. It is
9/11?
his home.
Wait, what?
And you'll hear more about that on Thursday
What's
when
happening?
the president speaks on this himself. Kelly.
Caroline, thank you. I wanted to ask you a question about the president speaking yesterday before the Religious Liberty Commission. As you know, he's created the White House Faith Office, the Task Force on Anti-Christian Bias, and yesterday he talked about the importance of the Bible in America and the importance of prayer in America. Some people have criticized him for that in stating that he's espousing Christian nationalism. Yet the president has called on the American people to band together in praying for this nation for people of all faiths. How important is that to the Trump administration, and are there guidelines for implementing that?
Well, last time I checked, it's not just Christians who pray, it's people of all faith who pray, and that's what the president wants to protect, the religious freedom for Americans of all faith. And he spoke about that yesterday, and that's why he was very proud and excited to announce this new initiative, Pray America, encouraging all Americans to pray for our country in the goodness of our country leading up to America's 250th birthday next year. Why don't we take some from the sides? Elizabeth, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I have two questions.
Sure.
First, on prayer again. Is the Trump administration looking for the forthcoming prayer guidelines to challenge existing court precedent on the right to pray in public schools?
Well, the president spoke about that yesterday, and some of the changes we are making to ensure that the religious liberties of America's students and our youth are respected in public schools. In fact, he had a young student and invited him on stage to share his story about how when this young boy spoke about biological and biblical truth in his classroom, he faced consequences
He knows
for that.
stuff
and how,
about biology?
Americans of faith should not be facing consequences for expressing their religious freedom and their
if
religious
it's
views.
disinformation,
Not
they
in any
should.
public school in America
Sorry.
should that be happening. You heard the president talk about that yesterday. Sure.
Caroline, thank you so much. Regarding Israel attacking Doha, beside the phone call, what was President Trump's involvement in the attack, if any?
Look, I don't have anything more to read out for you on this other than the very lengthy and thorough statement that I have shared repeatedly now.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you. After the Supreme Court ruling yesterday on the ICE raids in Los Angeles, some particularly non-white U.S. citizens are saying that they're going to begin carrying their U.S. passports with them at all times. What is the White House's response to Americans who are concerned about being swept up, as others have been already, in these enforcement actions?
They should not be concerned, because this administration is focused on the detention and deportation of illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's immigration laws. And the Supreme Court upheld the Trump administration's right to stop individuals in Los Angeles to briefly question them regarding their legal status, because the law allows this, and this has been the practice of the federal government for decades. And the Immigration and Nationality Act states that immigration officers can briefly stop an individual to question them about their immigration status if the officer has reasonable suspicion that the individual is
prayer in
illegally
the
present
classroom
in the
is a good
United States.
idea.
And reasonable
Period.
suspicion
Full
is
stop.
not
I don't
just
care
based
what
on race,
religion
it's
it
based
is.
on a
I just don't.
totality of the circumstances to
Period.
review.
Done.
And I will tell you, I spoke to our border czar about this morning. When ICE goes out to conduct a targeted operation to deport illegal criminals from our community, they are doing so with intelligence. They are doing so with law enforcement
they're
sources.
not, and
they
they're
are
very
doing so,
panicky.
in most cases, with the backing of local law enforcement who know exactly where these
Wait till
illegal
you see
alien
my new
criminals
bullhorn.
and drug traffickers and drug dealers are hiding in plain sight in American communities. And the men and women of ICE are doing everything they can to not only follow the law, but to enforce the law. And it's about time that has happened, because we had 4 years of an administration who completely ignored
I don't know who that
and
is,
evaded
Tom.
our nation's
I think
very
you've said
clear
that before. I don't know what that is.
immigration laws, and the Supreme Court has reaffirmed that.
Yeah, I know, man.
One of the other documents released by the
Oh,
House
I would be
Oversight
making
Committee
loud
contained
prayers
a
to the flying
photo
spaghetti monster.
of, Jeffrey Epstein holding an oversized check
Oh.
that was made out to him in the check from the president for $22,000 for a fully depreciated woman. I wondered if the president has any recollection of that, or what you guys make of that photo that was included in those documents.
Did you see the signature on that check? It is not Donald Trump's signature. It is absolutely not.
But isn't that Donald Trump standing there?
But does he recognize
Jordan,
the woman?
go ahead.
Thank you,
No.
Caroline. On the New York City election, is he
Well,
considering?
I'll take both of you. Go ahead.
So first, is the president considering offering Mayor Eric Adams a job?
No.
If so, why? And does he think Curtis Lee was a serious candidate for New York City mayor?
Look, the president has made it quite clear
Look.
he wants this race to move forward
Look.
in New York City. He does not want a communist to be running New York City, but as for weighing in on other individual candidates, I'll leave that to the president to do
But he'll
himself.
take the weird guy in the red
following up on
hat.
Reagan's question, many of these highest crime cities in America, they're led by black mayors, including the three that you mentioned: Jackson, Memphis,
What?
Birmingham. So,
What?
given that, what's your response to criticism from the left that Trump is targeting black mayors? Isn't he just trying to protect black people?
The president is trying to protect all Americans from crime, and he wants to make all of our cities in America safe. And the fact is, the most dangerous cities in America are
He took
run by
10% of
Democrats
Intel.
overwhelmingly.
Who's
And
the
according to
communist?
the
I
FBI
can't
crime
even. I
statistics,
don't even know
19
what
of
to
the top
do
20
here.
cities with the highest murder rate are run by Democrats, and these high crime Democrat-run cities are driving up the crime stats in otherwise safe red states. So of course he wants to address this problem. He's
In
made that quite
otherwise,
clear.
so
Mike
it's
Johnson,
the
he came out and
blue
said that
cities
the president
in
was
the
an
red
FBI
states.
informant. Do you know what he meant by that? If it's not
Oh
true.
yeah.
I can affirm that is not true. I think the speaker was referring to the fact that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago property for reasons the president has already discussed.
Oh.
John.
Oh.
Thank you, Caroline. First of all, as a
Oh,
Washington, D.C.
every time. Don't
resident
assume
with
they're
my family,
coordinated,
thank you
okay?
for
We need to stop giving them so much benefit of the intelligence. Okay, they're just as dumb as we think
All
they
of a
are.
sudden, out of the blue,
Period.
Winston Sears has closed the gap on Abigail Spanberger. Got 4 issues: coerced abortions in Fairfax County without telling mom or dad, no parents, girls going in boys' bathrooms on film, right? 2 of the young fellas get suspended for complaining about it. Virginia Beach man, an innocent man, is now died in a car crash by a drunk illegal going on the other side of the road and now you got Spanberger's got these racist signs. When are we going to get the president to make an official endorsement
Sir,
of Winsome
this is a Wendy's
Sears
drive-thru.
and maybe come and campaign
Do you
in
want a
South
Frosty
West
or
Virginia?
not?
Well, as you know, I'm very limited in what I can talk about when it comes to political endorsements in future elections from this government podium. But all of the issues that you just mentioned, I know are very important to the president, and it's quite common sense. It's the foundation of the Republican Party, and it's what sent this president back to the Oval Office. We want to keep men out of women's sports and bathrooms. We want criminals to be locked up. The president wants to see law and order in every state across the country. But as for political endorsements, I'll leave that to him and his political advisors to make those. Sure. Haley.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions for you, if it's okay. One on Doha and one on immigration and crime.
Sure.
On Doha, ahead of the strike we saw today, did the administration at any point try to dissuade the Israelis from the potential for an action like we saw today?
Again, I have answered questions repeatedly on this. I have a very lengthy statement which we will release after this briefing for all of you to read and to report on once again.
Okay, and then on a case in Maryland, the killing of Dakara Thompson, there are reports that the suspect arrested for her murder was in the country illegally and arrested and released for driving under the influence both in 2022 and in April of this year by U.S. Park Police. Is the administration looking into what process allowed this to take place?
Yes, we absolutely are. As soon as we saw this case, we ensured that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice were on it, and I can assure you that they are. This is another heinous act of violence against someone who should have never been in our country illegally in the first place, and that's exactly why the deportation of illegal criminals from our country is a top priority for this administration, and it's something that is happening every single day. And I would encourage all of you
he killed 7 giants, Meowing Star.
on the very
7
violent
giants with one
illegal
swoop.
alien criminals that we are deporting daily from American communities across the country. We will never understand how many lives have been saved by these efforts, or how many lives would have been lost if not for this president and the administration's policy to
Or
deport
how many
illegal
lives
criminals.
are being lost
Emily.
because of this president?
I don't have any meetings for you to read out on that.
He's not meeting with
Go
the
ahead.
Epstein victims.
Is the Trump administration considering a ban on transgender Americans owning guns? Is that something the president would support, even as we've seen some gun groups oppose the idea of it?
I saw reporting on this. I understand there were very preliminary, low-level discussions about this at the Department of Justice, and then sometimes those discussions are reported as fact. I'm not tracking any potential actions on this front, and I'll let the president weigh in on that. It's a policy decision, and it's far too early or would be premature, inappropriate for me to weigh in on it at this point in time. Behind you. Go ahead.
It's the issue of gun permits for transgender individuals.
Georgia on Friday, the president said over the weekend that he's open to some kind of changes in perhaps rules or visa rules or law that would prevent something like that happening in the future for skilled workers to train American workers.
That's right.
Can you confirm that and that the administration supports those changes, and what exactly would that look like?
Well, the president said it himself in a statement that he put out on Sunday night, where he is very grateful for foreign companies from around the world and the investments that they are making right here in the United States of America. And he understands that these companies want to bring their highly skilled and trained workers with them, especially when they're creating very niche products like chips, or in this case in Georgia, like batteries. But the president also expects these foreign companies to hire American workers, and for these foreign workers and American workers to work together to train and to teach one another. And so he expects these foreign companies to hire American labor. We want Americans to have these jobs. Americans need these jobs, but he also understands the need for these companies to bring over their workers who already have these skills. So I think it's a very
what those changes might be?
I think it's a very nuanced and responsible and sensible approach for the president to take. And I know that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Commerce are working on this matter together. I would defer you to them for any further action on this front.
Maggie. Caroline, thank you. I want to follow up on something you said. You said the Epstein documents are a hoax that Democrats are perpetrating against the president. You said he didn't sign that check, that he didn't sign the birthday card that he allegedly signed. So what is the theory, since these documents came from the Epstein estate? Who is I guess, in your view, faking these documents?
I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax that is being perpetuated by opportunistic Democrats.
That doesn't
like
make any
Ro Khanna
sense.
and the others whom you saw on that press conference outside of Capitol Hill, who are trying to push this hoax against the President of the United States.
What exactly is the hoax? I'm just trying to understand what's fake. What's fake is not the documents.
The hoax
then?
is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing to solve crimes, when they have done
That's
nothing
not very
to
good.
lock up child pedophiles and child rapists across the
Oh,
country.
whoops.
And when they are now
Excuse
using
me?
victims as political
Alex
props
Acosta?
to try and, again, smear the President of the United States and drag on this bad story about him. It is a distraction. The Democrats view this story as
Oh, she's
nothing
so
more than an attempt to distract from the accomplishments and the achievements of this
Oh, she's
administration.
turning
And that
red.
is what we mean.
Look
when
at her
we call it a
chest. Her
hoax.
He didn't sign
décolletage
these.
is
He
just.
said he didn't sign the birthday card. He didn't
Gotcha.
do this. He also didn't do the check. Those were in documents from the estate. So what is the working theory as to why he's in them?
The
or who
president
did-
has one of the most famous signatures in the world, and he has for many, many years. You know that, Maggie, you've covered him
No,
for a
no.
long time,
No,
long
don't
before
bring
he
her
assumed
into
this
this.
office when he was a businessman in New York. The president did not
Businessman.
write that letter. He did not sign those documents. He maintains that position, and
Girl.
that position will be argued in court by his lawyers.
It
the
certainly
president is very
will.
confident he is going to win this case.
Oh, dear.
Deanna.
Thank you. Is the president planning to meet with Eric Adams in New York, maybe at the Yankees game? And has he personally talked to him about the race?
I am not tracking any meeting with Mayor Adams at this
Your
time,
Chesapeake
but if
front
that happens, I'm sure the New York Post will
is
be one of the first people to know about it. I'll take a couple more questions. Why don't we go to the back?
She's dying to get out of there.
News Nation regarding the growing U.S. military
News
presence.
Nation, all the way in the back.
Regarding the U.S. military, the growing U.S. military presence in the Caribbean. When asked directly about possible future military action, President Trump responded, "You're going to find out." What could the U.S. public expect of that situation moving forward, and what sort of ongoing threat does Trendeo Agro?
I think it would be very unwise of me to preview what the president meant from this podium. But I think what the heart of what the president was saying, I know what the heart of what the president was saying in this administration believes, is that the regime in Venezuela is illegitimate. And it is unacceptable to this president and this administration to traffic illegal, deadly drugs into the United States of America. And that's why the president and the administration took very strong action against about 11 narco-terrorists in international waters, as you all saw. I think that sends a very strong message to drug traffickers around the world. The president will not tolerate it, and the amount of drugs on that boat represents the lives of thousands of Americans that could have been killed by that
How
deadly
many
poison. And
thousands?
we're not going to
And
allow
how
that
many?
deadly poison
How much
to come
was
into
on
our
there?
country.
And who were
The
they? And
president
which
will be signing a
cartel?
proclamation in the Oval Office later this afternoon, and we will see you all later. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye. Bye. Well, that's excellent timing because this other thing just started that I wanted us to watch a little bit of. And then we're going to go to the Meta whistleblower, I think. I'll be honest. I think we're going to hop, skip, and jump out of this one. This is probably about work requirements. I either it's about work requirements for disabled people or it's about training and work development courses and resources for disabled people. I can't quite tell from the title which one it is. So anyway, we'll join this. It just literally just started.
Witnesses to today's hearings.
But
Thank you
yeah,
all for being
that
here
was
today
painful.
for our first hearing since we celebrated the 90th anniversary of the Social Security Act on August 14th. I'd like to recognize and thank Chairman Smith.
That's a
and
great
Congressman
idea,
Kerry,
Tom. I'm doing it. Oh
distinguished
my
members of
God,
the
a sock puppet.
subcommittees
I'm
on
doing
Social
it.
Security and work and welfare. I'm going to
Teresa, you did
skip
that.
one
A sock
paragraph,
I'm
and
doing
I will
it.
come back to that.
You guys are
As
brilliant.
chairman of the Social Security Subcommittee, I made it a priority to strengthen and protect Social Security programs to better serve all Americans, including those with disabilities. This year, it's been my pleasure to work closely with Social Security Commissioner Frank Bisignano, who we hosted here in June. And just this past Friday, the commissioner came to Wichita, where we held a productive meeting at the Social Security field office in my district. We discussed
You can't
how
have
Congress
more than
and the Social Security
$2,000 in
Administration can
assets.
continue to deliver improved results to
Ridiculous.
beneficiaries and recipients, and I'm confident
Everything is
this
designed to
hearing will allow
keep
us to
people
strengthen this
who are
partnership further. Today, there are
living in
1.7
poverty, living
million
in
Americans
poverty.
missing from the workforce, while at the same time we have over 7 million open jobs. This is not just a statistic, it's a call to action. It's crucial that we use the talents of every American able to work that we can. One of the most valuable yet underutilized talent pools in our country is Americans with disabilities, especially given that many individuals
it's making people
with
work.
disabilities
Okay.
want to work. In fact, roughly 60% of the Social Security disability insurance, the DI, and Social Security and Supplemental Security Income, SSI, recipients are interested in finding a job, gaining new skills, or advancing their careers. They are a critical resource we cannot ignore. I want to emphasize that this is not about removing folks from their benefits. It's about removing the barriers that hinder Americans with disabilities from renewing, strengthening, or forging a connection with the workforce. This hearing is about highlighting those barriers, understanding the complexities of the Social Security Administration return to work programs, and exploring how we can improve transitions to work whenever possible. Today, we'll hear from individuals who have navigated these policies. The reality is that for those who want to work, the current system is complex and full of red tape. The existing DI and SSI programs are intended to support beneficiaries, but they are often so confusing that both individuals and employers need third-party experts to understand them. We also face the issue of outdated and slow administrative processes. For those who find work, the Social Security Administration's management of benefits can lead to overpayments. This isn't just a bureaucratic problem, it's a financial hardship that can discourage people from continuing to work. The system is confusing. The complexity, red tape, and the need to rely on third-party experts just to navigate the rules is a massive obstacle for both individuals and employers. I hope that this hearing will set the stage for a vital discussion about reform. This isn't about altering the fundamental purposes of DI and SSI, but about modernizing our programs to work more effectively. We have an opportunity to remove government barriers, streamline communications, and modernize existing programs to help individual Americans who want to participate in the workforce. By doing so, we will not only improve individuals' lives, but strengthen our economy as a whole. Now, I'll take a moment. This is a joint hearing between the Social Security Subcommittee and the Work and Welfare Subcommittee, and I just want to note that I'd like to thank my colleague, Representative Danny Davis, for your nearly 3 decades of service in Congress, your commitment to your constituents, and your tireless effort to address the issues facing our announcement. Your leadership and dedication will be most missed on this committee now that you've announced your retirement. So I look forward to your opening remarks when we get to that point. So right now, I'd like to yield to Ranking Member Mr. Larson for his opening statement.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's always good to be here together with our colleagues, and I want to stress from the outset that what good people there are that sit on this committee, and on both sides of the aisle. But, Mr. Chairman, I'd be less than honest if I didn't say that I was thoroughly frustrated that we're having a hearing whose intentions look as though they're admirable, but we're having a hearing on Social Security disability at a time when we haven't enhanced Social Security since 1971, and Richard Nixon was President of the United States. That is an abomination to the #1 program that prevents seniors from going into poverty, that prevents children from going into poverty. And Congress hasn't acted since 1971 to enhance the program. I know you're going to say, well, wait a minute, didn't Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan wanted to privatize it, like I think the attempts that are going on as we speak today. And there's no other way for me to describe what's transpiring when you have an administration, the current administration, that says they want to protect and help Social Security, and they're doing so by laying off 7,000 employees, not improving any of the phone service, where people with 10,000 baby boomers a day becoming eligible for Social Security, and then worst of all, allowing DOJ to look at people's personal records. There's nobody on this committee that believes that that's the right thing to do. that these 24-year-olds who have never been vetted, have no accountability, get to go in and look at individuals' information. Mr. Chairman, we demand a hearing with the whistleblower. We demand a hearing with Doge. If they're so great and have found all this fraud and abuse and waste, why aren't they here sharing it with us so that we can go over
finally,
it and work with
Mr.
you
Larson,
to
somebody
eliminate who's
says,
in favor of fraud
show
and
us the
abuse?
data.
But if that's not the case, then what is the motive behind them taking people's personal data and information and now supposedly storing it in a cloud? Basically, it's now in an unsecure location. Does anyone on this committee knows where it is? The Social Security Administration doesn't even know where they've taken the documents that they've rummaged through and go over on a daily basis. It's an abomination, and everybody on this committee knows it. And I don't understand for the life of me why we don't have a full committee hearing with Doge present. We tried before with Elon Musk, but apparently there are people in this country that believe they're above the law and don't have to come before the Congress of the United States and testify. If they're doing such great deeds out there, if they're finding all of this fraud and abuse, why aren't they here before the committee and testifying? All these witnesses are exceptional. They're good people too as well. But guess what? They're not here to talk about what's actually happening in Social Security, what's actually going on before everyone's eyes. You imagine the largest insurance program in the nation, more than 70 million people, and it operates with administrative costs below 1%. Name another federal agency that does that. Show me any insurance company, and I come from an insurance capital of the world, where they are able to administer their programs far less than 70 million plus people, between 16 and 26%. Mr. Chairman, you're a decent man. I know you care about Social Security, as does everybody on this committee. It is beyond my belief as to why we can't have a public hearing, and most importantly, why we don't demand, why you individually, all of us, are not outraged by the fact that Doge is not in front of this committee explaining what they've done with people's personal and individual information that they have access to, and now it's in an unsecure place, and SAA does not have oversight of it anymore.
Well, thank you, Ranking Member Larson. I now recognize the gentleman from Ohio, Work and Welfare Subcommittee Member Mike Carey, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm filling in today for Chairman LaHood, but as a member of both subcommittees, I'm glad we are focusing on this topic and giving it the time and attention it rightly deserves. Before I begin, I would also like to echo our chairman's remarks about our colleague, Mr. Danny Davis. And he has recently announced that he will retire from Congress after representing Illinois' 7th Congressional District for nearly 30 years. Representative Davis, you have been a tireless advocate and a champion for children and families for over the many decades of your public service. I would also like to echo my colleagues' recognition that we celebrated 90 years of Social Security and all that is done to provide for seniors with certainty that they all need to have and satisfy their net in retirement. These are the benefits that seniors have earned and paid into, and the government has made a promise that they will receive their benefits. So for this hearing, our goal is to focus on two important disability programs at Social Security Administration: disability insurance, this is the number one, and supplemental security income. These programs are essential for providing protection for millions of individuals with disabilities across our country. And I'm proud to say that last year, my home state of Ohio, through our Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities Agency worked with nearly 37,000 Ohioans with disabilities in their pursuit of meaningful work and independent lives. The vast majority of SSI and DI recipients simply cannot work, but some do work part-time or want to return to work as their medical conditions may have changed, or their technology advances to provide better accommodations and accessibility in the workplace.
Oh
Now,
my
according
God,
to
I
a
love
survey
Old
by the
Spaghetti
Social
Factory.
Security Administration,
Oh my
the
God,
majority of
it's so
SSI
yummy.
and DI beneficiaries reported
the
being
is it
work-oriented
Mizithra cheese
with a goal of
pasta?
working
Oh my
or
God.
advancing in a career. And roughly nearly 18% saw themselves working enough to leave
Is he really,
disability
Teresa?
benefits
Is Big Balls
in the
at
next
Social
5
Security
years.
as we speak?
For these individuals, we want to make sure that government policies are working in their favor and not discouraging or putting up walls that make it harder to connect to work. This is the first hearing we've had to review SSA's return to work policy since 2015. And I think we're long overdue. Certainly, there are some incentives in place to encourage individuals to return to work and earn wages, but all the evidence suggests that they are effective. As an example, the Ticket to Work program was put in place in 1999, but according to SSA's survey, only 1 out of 3 beneficiaries have ever heard of the Ticket to Work. Now, there are policies to help individuals maintain their Medicaid and Medicare coverage, but many do not know about them. I'm particularly concerned about reports that fear of overpayment discourage work attempts. Now, last Congress, I introduced bipartisan legislation called the Protecting Americans for Social Security Clawback Act to address the overpayments made through no fault of the beneficiary, and I'm committed to continuing to focus on ways to decrease the overpayment rates at SSA. All of our government programs need to be oriented to provide every opportunity for individuals to reach their full capacity. We know that work brings dignity and purpose, and government should never get in the way of that. I hope that we can work together with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to find bipartisan ways to improve outcomes for disabled individuals. I'm honored to have our witnesses with us here today. I look forward to hearing what they have to say on these important issues. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. I now recognize the gentleman from Illinois, Work and Welfare Subcommittee, Ranking Member Davis, for his opening statement.
Let me thank you, Chairman Estes, and the acting chairman of Work and Welfare for your complimentary remarks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and our witnesses for this discussion on how to better serve Americans with disabilities, including adults and children with severe disabilities who rely on Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. Yet today, seniors and people with disabilities face increasing hardship from extreme Republican policies. The chaotic Trump tariffs that raise prices for the essentials needed to live, the evisceration of federal grants that shutter key services,
I think it's the latter,
and
Meowing
massive
Star.
staff reductions at the Social Security Administration that make it harder to get benefits. I recently spent 3 hours waiting with a family member for an appointment at a Social Security office. The amazing staff took the care needed to serve everyone, but President Trump's forcing out more than 7,000 employees means there are not enough people to do the work. The commissioner assured me that my experience was an outlier, but all of us are hearing from constituents and friends about people waiting months for appointments and hours for service. I want people with disabilities to have the best opportunities to thrive, but these customer service concerns, coupled with the recent Republican law kicking millions of Americans off Medicaid and food assistance, and the Trump administration's track record of using administrative processes to cut benefits, create a real danger of Americans not getting their SSA benefits. Further, losing health insurance and food assistance undermines the health of people with disabilities and the foundation of their ability to work. Successful strategies to help SSA beneficiaries work as much as they're able are labor-intensive and cost money. They require frequent benefit adjustments, temporary eligibility adjustments, or individualized help. It is not tenable to add to the workload of SSA's understaffed offices when they are struggling just to process benefit applications and answer questions from the public. One way to reduce work for SSA staff and help working beneficiaries is to increase the antiquated asset limit that cuts off SSI benefits anytime recipients have more than $2,000 in their bank accounts. That limit was set over 40 years ago. It discourages work and is a major driver of errors in SSI benefit payments. Together with my Republican colleague, Mr. Fitzpatrick, I lead the widely supported SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act to increase the asset limit. Another way to simultaneously help people and reduce work for SSA is to keep in place the regulation simplifying SSI applications for seniors and people with disabilities who are part of poor families who need and receive SNAP benefits. The Trump administration has suggested it might end this senior-friendly policy. Democrats support helping people with disabilities work and increase their income when they're able, but I will reject any effort to weaken disability supports or any offer to help some people with disabilities by cutting benefits for others. For good, innovative ideas to work, we will first need to get the basics right. A well-staffed and funded SSA, quality health insurance coverage, and the ability to save some of your earnings without fear of losing disability benefits. I hope that we can find common ground to improve disability benefits, and I thank our witnesses today for their ideas. And Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent.
Oh, I'm the same, Meowing Star and Orin. I'm the
letters
same.
from over 240 organizations suggesting the SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act, as well as letters from the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and a group of foster youth advocates. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and yield back the balance of my time.
Without objection, so ordered. Thank you, Mr. Davis. And now I'll introduce our witnesses and start with the opening comments from them. First off, Sean Tyree is a research aide and disability advocate at Kansas University Center on Disabilities. Amy Wallish is CEO at Full Circle Employment Solutions. Jared Sanderson is a partner at Nautical Manufacturing and Fulfillment. Dr. Denise Hoffman is principal researcher at Mathematics Policy Research. Tracy Thomas Groniger is managing director at Economic Security and Housing, Justice and Aging. Thank you all for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to hearing your testimony. Your written statements will be made part of the hearing record, and you each have 5 minutes to deliver your oral remarks. Mr. Tyree, you may begin when you're ready.
Dear Chairman Smith and members of the Social Security Work and Welfare Subcommittee, my name is Sean Tyree, and I'm a research aide and self-advocate at the University of Kansas Center on Disabilities, also known as KUCD, authorized under the Developmental Disabilities Act. KUCD is the University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, also known as a UCED in the state of Kansas. I am testifying today regarding my journey through several government programs and service systems, including Social Security Income, SSI, and Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, that have supported me to become competitively employed in the state of Kansas. I am a person with a disability. I have a neuromuscular condition called Charcot-Marie-Tooth, or CMT type 1A, that was inherited at birth through my father. CMT is a degenerative disease, meaning it does not ever get better, it only gets worse. As someone who has had a disability their whole life, when I turned 18, my mom helped me to get on the Medicaid home and community-based service wait list for people with physical disabilities. In the state of Kansas, this wait list is around 2 years. After high school, I was able to get services I needed after being on the wait list. High school was a challenging time for me with my disabilities as I was recovering from multiple leg surgeries and rehabilitation, and I faced near constant bullying. As an adolescent, I also received vocational rehabilitation, or VR services, from ages 14 to 21. In school, I took the initiative to invite a VR counselor to my annual Section 504 meetings at school. Section 504 is a part of the Federal Rehabilitation Act. And my 504 plan ensured that I got the accommodations I needed to be successful in school. My school did not always invite VR, but I knew they could help me reach my employment goals. VR services supported me with person-centered, strength-based job search. With these services, I received tuition and assistance from a tech specialist to attend community college online. This allowed me to continue working toward my employment goals while also remaining close to home, as at the time my dad became a double amputee due to CMT type 1A. I graduated with an Associates of Arts degree in August of 2023, supporting my goal to become an elementary school teacher. I worked from October 2021 to September 2024 as a substitute teacher. With the support of VR, I received supports to be successful in my position, including purchasing work clothes, required technology, and completing background checks. These VR funds come from the federal U.S. Department of Education, specifically through the Rehabilitation Services Administration. And they have been critical to me gaining the skills I needed to be successful in employment. After years in the classroom, I decided to make a career change and find a new way to make important connections to new jobs. This led me to volunteering for the My Transition My Career Topeka Community Team, an initiative led by KUCD. These community teams bring together students, families, schools, VR professionals, and community members to support youth with disabilities to get jobs in the community through education and monthly resource meetings. At these meetings, I learned about the research aid job at KUCD and thought my strong voice as a self-advocate and my lived experience with a disability could be useful to the work that KU was doing to enhance employment for people with disabilities. When I got the job offer, it made me realize how beneficial these systems of supports are for the success of people with disabilities like myself, which unfortunately, due to the lack of federally funded job supports and accurate benefits planning, many people with disabilities do not get. As a research aide, I work to advance employment and transition supports for other people with disabilities, while also allowing me to earn competitive wages and benefits through the state of Kansas
and all that,
employee
CAP
healthcare
CEO
system.
pay, do it all.
While I am in competitive integrated employment, I also receive Medicaid and Medicare benefits and personal care services, all essential to my health and success. While these systems are typically difficult to navigate, the people at Working Healthy, a program in Kansas that supports people to work while keeping their essential
this is why we're
Medicaid
here,
benefits,
because the
supported me
rich
to
are
learn how my
hell-bent on
benefits would
not
be impacted
doing
if I
that,
worked beyond
by
the
the
trial
way.
work period
So that's
limits.
the reason. The
As I made
entire
this
reason for the
transition
season
and began my new
is
career at
that.
KUCD, I had additional barriers to navigate as my dad passed away from his battle with CMT type 1A. I became eligible for some of his benefits in addition to my own SSDI monthly payment. With Working Healthy support, I learned that I could keep my essential benefits while working as long as I did not have assets over $2,000, which allowed me to continue to qualify for the home and community-based service waiver. The $2,000 asset limit is a huge barrier to people with disabilities like me in seeking employment. However, I was recommended to open an ABLE savings account, which allows me to save up to $19,000 per year for qualified disability expenses. This lets me save for things like a car to get to work and other supportive technology that typically cost over $2,000 and is not typically covered by Medicaid or Medicare. ABLE accounts come from the federal Achieving a Better Life Experience Act and allow individuals with disabilities to save money in a tax-advantaged account without losing essential benefits. Because of my ABLE Now savings, I can now safely feel like I have a little nest egg for emergencies. People with disabilities deserve to be able to maintain benefits that support their health and independence and have a job. Largely because of federal and state programs and supports from the disability field, like the Kansas Department on Aging and Disability, KUCD, and the School of Martial and Meditative Arts in Topeka, specifically my mentor and friend,
Ooh, I
Hanchi
like that
Steve
idea,
Flinlow,
Meowing
my
Star.
hero. I have learned that my long-term potential for job growth and benefits are far better with a meaningful job in the community. I love my job at KUCD and believe that as people with disabilities go after employment, they should have the benefits and supports to empower them. I have shared today about my experience and journey into competitive integrated employment. Since being employed, I have had fewer hospital visits and now have a real purpose in my life to help others with disabilities reach their goals. I've developed as a professional and became a true independent adult in society, an adult who is brave enough to testify in front of Congress about his own personal lived experiences. I would not be sitting here before you today without the federal and state level supports and services
And the suit,
I've received, such as
amazing.
Medicaid,
The color
Medicare,
combos,
SSDI,
aubergine
ABLE,
tie,
and Section 504
amazing.
and vocational rehabilitation. I also want to thank my family, friends, and mentors and supporters who have guided me through these systems. I have a higher quality of life because of my work in these services. People with disabilities can achieve far more than what society often expects. Like everyone else, they simply need the right supports to learn, grow, and pursue their purpose in life. Thanks to the opportunities provided by KUCD, I was able to discover a career I love. Without federal programs that promote competitive integrated employment while ensuring access to essential Medicaid benefits, many people like me may face institutionalization or lose the support needed to thrive and grow professionally in their career they are passionate about. Thank you for your time and attention today. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story with you all.
Thank you. I appreciate your remarks, and particularly thank you for mentioning ABLE accounts. I was Kansas State Treasurer when I worked with Congress to actually help get the law passed and actually structure some things to make sure that, as in most cases, state treasurers across the country implemented those programs, and we set up that program in Kansas to help make sure that that worked for folks to save money. So
thank you for signing that in, and yeah, that's been critical in my journey to competitive integrated employment, so thank you.
All right, so thank you. And next, Amy Wallace, you have 5 minutes to present your opening remarks, and you can begin when you're ready.
Chairman Estes, Representative Carey, Ranking Members Larson and Davis, and members of the subcommittees. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Amy Wallace, and I am the founder and CEO of Full Circle Employment Solutions, a national women-owned small business dedicated to expanding employment opportunities for people with disabilities. I've spent over 25 years in the intersect of disability, employment, and policy, running employment networks, working through work incentive planning and assistance, or WIPA programs, working on SSA demonstration projects and national evaluation teams. I've also provided direct benefits counseling to thousands of Social Security beneficiaries over the years. We are unique in that 81% of our staff are certified benefits counselors. We have gone through a rigorous training program and understanding of Social Security and other federal public benefits. Benefits counseling is the cornerstone to return to work efforts. It helps people understand how employment impacts their benefits and health care, giving them the confidence to pursue work without fear. Let me tell you about Joe, not his real name, who was homeless and living in a car receiving mental health services when he began working with our benefits counselor through a state VR, vocational rehab benefits counseling program. With support, he secured full-time employment as an HVAC assistant. However, shortly after, his Medicaid stopped abruptly, jeopardizing his health and his job. His counselor worked with the Senator's office to reinstate coverage through 1619B, ensured proper wage reporting, and stabilized his benefits. He was then able to focus on finding housing, continued working, and chose to receive ongoing supports through our Ticket to Work EN from 2018 to 2023. His journey shows how timely benefits counseling, particularly in moments of crisis, and collaboration between VR and ENs through Partnership Plus can transform lives and reduce barriers to employment. As demonstrated in this story, meeting basic human needs must be met before someone is ready to move forward with work. Awareness of the rules and programs is an ongoing barrier to successful employment. That's why I believe the Ticket to Work marketing program is a powerful strategy. It allows ENs to reach out to at least 300,000 beneficiaries every 90 days on Social Security's behalf. Our EN saw a 121% increase in ticket assignments or beneficiary participation from June of 2020 through March of 2023. Since SSA began enforcing a 0.5% requirement in March of 2023, assignments have dropped. SSA should eliminate that 0.5% assignment requirement. This change would allow ENs to expand outreach opportunities, engage more beneficiaries and help them return to work, and deliver critical information at no cost to Social Security. We also need to modernize outdated systems. The Benefits Planning Query, or BPQI, is often incorrect and can take up to several months to receive, requiring wet signatures on forms like the SSA 3288, Consent for Release of Information, creates unnecessary delays. Adopting e-signatures and real-time data access would streamline operations and reduce overpayments. Speaking of overpayments, they remain one of the biggest deterrents to work. Many individuals park themselves under the substantial gainful activity level of $16.20 a month to avoid triggering benefit loss. This traps people in poverty when they could be thriving in full-time work and financial independence. Benefits counseling helps tip that balance. It shows people how to take calculated steps forward using the protections built in place, like the trial work period,
There's a
extended
link to the
period of
report.
eligibility, Medicaid buy-in, expedited reinstatement, the list goes on. These tools are powerful, but they're only effective when
air
people
quote.
understand. Inspired by the impact, Kushal became a certified benefits counselor, and I'm proud to say now works under one of our WIPA projects, guiding others in their employment journey. In closing, the programs created in the Ticket Act in 1999 were visionary. I urge the committees and Congress to prioritize funding and support for the Ticket to Work and WIPA programs, expand access to benefits counseling, and transform systems to maximize impact and reduce barriers. Benefits counseling through these programs reduce long-term dependence on public benefits, support Social Security's mission, and help people with disabilities contribute meaningfully to the economy, including the Social Security Trust Fund. With modernization and investment, we can make work truly work for everyone. Thank you for your leadership in allowing me to share this testimony.
Well, thank you for your testimony. And now I'd like to turn to Jared Sanderson for you to make your opening remarks, and please limit your remarks to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chairman Estes, Representative Carey, Ranking Members Larson and Davis, and distinguished members of the subcommittee. Before I get started, I wanted to say, Chairman Estes, while I live in Missouri, the work that I've done that I'm going to talk about happened in Kansas, so hopefully you give me some grace and don't hold it against me where I reside. So my name is Jared Sanderson. I come to you today wearing two hats. I started my career, cut my teeth in the social service world, licensed clinical social worker. I worked in that space for 18 years. I worked in about every program you can imagine. I started in foster care. I worked in senior care. I worked in veteran care. I represented the United States Department of State as a Fulbright Scholar in South Africa doing homeless prevention. That was the first 18 years. I then pivoted to the for-profit world where I was the COO for Nautical Manufacturing and Fulfillment and a managing partner for Staffing by Starboard, a sister staffing company for Nautical. So I want to talk about both of those experiences because they're both very relevant. I want to talk about the social service part of this first and then pivot to the reason that I was invited, which was the employer perspective, hiring people with disabilities. So on the nonprofit side, I'm a firm believer in social entrepreneurship. I think businesses that place their purpose at the center and the intersection of market demand and social need can do a whole lot of good. They can harness the power of markets, but also meet social demands in ways that some other programs just can't. So I have the benefit of sitting on two boards for organizations in Kansas City that do this very well. Prosperity is the name of one of them. We train homeless moms in dog grooming and then place them at salons throughout the city. And we open our own salon.
Prosperity.
Most
Stop
of the
it.
women that we work with,
That's so
long
adorable.
histories of poverty and trauma. The crushing impact of that generally leads to some type of diagnosed disability, mostly on the mental health side. So that is a social entrepreneurship that I think works and also creates pathways to employment for people with disabilities. The other board that I sit on is Reconciliation Services. This is an organization that is nested at 31st and Truce. Truce is the racial dividing line in Kansas City historically, and they are working on community healing and also have a very strong social entrepreneurship focus and workforce program.
I'm
Same thing
sorry,
there.
all their
A whole lot of
grants were
individuals
cut.
with diagnosed disabilities for mental health because they have known nothing but poverty and trauma their entire lives. There is so much talent that is being wasted because all it gets to do is spend its time trying to survive. And if you don't have anything else that you can focus on but getting through the day, it is extremely difficult to engage in any type of workforce program, whether it's funded or not. So I say that because we really do have to address the things that are causing people to not get to work to begin with. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about that. In general, my core message today is that it is not charity to hire people with disabilities. It is a sound business strategy. There is a huge upside, and I will get into why that is from my perspective. I think the data and research bears this out as well. So the talent isn't untapped because there's a lack of skill or desire. There are some outdated perceptions and some systemic barriers, generally not because of malice, but because sometimes incentives just don't align. And things have changed. We've learned a lot more about the space that we're working in now. So there are kind of two broad types of disabilities that I want to cover. Actually, one that I want to cover, which is more the mental health side. There are people to the left and right of me that are much, much better on the developmental and physical disability side. Before I get into the last thing I want to talk about, the benefits cliff is a very real problem. Depending on the state, TANF, Medicaid, and child care subsidies can have a cliff effect where it's kind of all or nothing. That does make it difficult sometimes for somebody to come in at an entry level and then earn their way in. Housing and transportation is also a major issue generally, and that exacerbates for people with disabilities. So those are policy things. I want to finish my time talking about an experience that we've had at Nautical Manufacturing and Fulfillment with Down Syndrome Innovations, an organization in Lenexa, Kansas. We struggle with the same thing that every 3PL struggles with, which is seasonal work. We partnered with Down Syndrome Innovations to hire their self-advocates. Long story short, we've hired 35 of their individuals to date, and they are exactly the kinds of individuals that any employer is looking for. They're engaged, they're consistent, and they love what they do. The throughput and their production has increased. The number of smiles that go through that building have increased substantially as well. It's not just heartwarming. It's not just the right thing to do. It was actually just a very sound business strategy.
Oh, meowing
so
star.
I think there are a lot of individuals in that space. This is a very big topic, so I will stop there, but I think that we have millions of people
I'm
who are ready
shuddering.
to be committed, loyal, engaged, and growth-minded, and they just need a pathway to get there. So I very much appreciate the time today and appreciate you hosting this hearing so that we can talk through these issues. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your testimony. And now,
I'm waiting
Dr.
for the
Denise
types
Hoffman,
of
if you would like
therapies
to share your oral
that
testimony.
are going to be
Please limit your remarks to
prescribed.
5 minutes. Thank you.
Chairman Estes, Representative Carey, Ranking Member Larson, Ranking Member Davis, and distinguished members of the subcommittees. Thank you for inviting me to testify on this important topic. I've studied disability policy for 15 years at Mathematica. This includes leading evaluations of major Social Security Administration programs, such as Ticket to Work and the Benefit Offset National Demonstration, as well as research on work-related overpayments. My testimony today is based on these experiences. The Supplemental Security Income and Social Security Disability Insurance programs serve people with severe health impairments who meet stringent eligibility criteria. 2 in 10 die within 5 years of benefit award. Many cannot work, but some have the capacity and desire to do so. Unfortunately, the current SSI and SSDI disability systems create significant barriers to work. The first barrier is that many beneficiaries are unaware of or have limited understanding of program features. For example, just 28% of SSDI beneficiaries interested in working reported understanding the trial work period, which allows beneficiaries to test work without a reduction in benefits. This confusion and misunderstanding can create hesitancy to work. The second barrier is that program complexity makes implementation difficult. In 2022, it took an average of 262 days for SSA to complete an earnings review, not counting delays in initiating the review. These types of delays often lead to overpayments. My research shows that 82% of SSDI beneficiaries who work and earn above a certain program threshold are overpaid. Overpayment can cause financial harm to beneficiaries who struggle to repay overpayment debt, reduce their work activity, and imposes significant costs to SSA. The third barrier is that current program features, referred to as work incentives, can actually function as disincentives. A key example is SSDI's so-called cash cliff. After the trial work
Yeah, it
period,
makes sense what you're
SSDI
saying,
benefits
Youngster.
drop to $0 once earnings exceed a certain threshold. Research shows that some beneficiaries, in alignment with program incentives, intentionally limit their earnings to avoid losing their benefits. These three barriers also undermine SSA's marquee employment support program, Ticket to Work, by creating confusion and fear around returning to work. So what can be done? In the short term, there's an opportunity to improve current program operations. But there's also a need for evidence about larger scale reforms with the potential to generate more impactful results. The first action is to ensure the timely and accurate implementation of current program rules. Beneficiaries need clear, accurate information and explanations of how program rules affect their benefits, supported by modernized processes, such as increased automation of earnings processing to avoid or reduce overpayments. The second action is to resume the gathering of rigorous evidence to inform SSA policy and programmatic decisions related to current operations. The recent discontinuation of several data-related efforts has limited access to research-ready administrative files and new survey evidence, including some that was mentioned in opening remarks, slowing evaluation of programs like Ticket to Work, and limiting the availability of timely data to improve program operations and support agency-wide efficiencies. The final action is for Congress to reinstate SSA's Section 234 demonstration authority, which expired in 2021 and previously provided a solid evidence base for policy decisions related to SSDI. Bond, which tested replacing the SSDI cash cliff with a $1 benefit offset for every $2 earned, serves as an example of why testing is essential. The Bond demonstration revealed that the tested policy would cost the SSDI Trust Fund an estimated $1 billion annually without increasing average beneficiary earnings. Policymakers use this evidence to make an informed decision against national implementation. Demonstration authority is essential to evaluate compelling ideas for reforms that encourage work, simplify program rules, and are administratively feasible. Many beneficiaries want to work, but are held back by a system that is difficult to navigate and can discourage work. By improving implementation and restoring SSA's demonstration authority to identify large-scale improvements, Congress can help ensure that SSA effectively supports beneficiaries who have the ability and desire to work. Again, thank you for the opportunity to appear today, and I look forward to any questions.
Well, thank you for your testimony. Now we'll turn to Tracy Thomas Groninger, and if you would present your oral testimony, and please limit it to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Estes, Ranking Member Larson, Representative Carey, Ranking Member Davis, and members of the subcommittee. I'm Tracy Groninger, Managing Director of Economic Security and Housing at Justice and Aging, an organization committed to using the power of law to advocate for the rights of low-income older adults. I'm also here as a co-chair and on behalf of the Social Security Task Force of the Consortium for Constituents with Disabilities. I'm here today to talk about the importance of Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, and how we can better support beneficiaries who want to work without fear of losing the benefits they depend on. I'll focus on 3 points. First, SSDI and SSI are vital for millions of seniors and people with disabilities. Monthly benefits are modest, but help people pay for basics like rent, food, and medical copays. They also provide access to essential health care through Medicare and Medicaid. Cuts to these vital benefits would not only harm the economic security of seniors and disabled beneficiaries, but also their independence and freedom to work. SSA beneficiaries face great risk when attempting to work and need the assurance not only of monthly income, but also essential health care when engaging in uncertain employment. Second, complex rules and staffing shortages that reduce beneficiary support create barriers for those who want to attempt to return to work. The process to obtain benefits is long and difficult, and once approved, beneficiaries must navigate a minefield of eligibility rules. SSI, for example, caps assets for an individual at $2,000. Exceeding this limit by even a small amount means benefits are not payable for that month, forcing the individual to spend down their savings. SSI benefits are also reduced when individuals earn money. Earned income disregards, unchanged since the program began in 1972, impose harsher consequences for work than Congress likely intended. Overpayments are another huge problem. While SSDI and SSI recipients must report their income to SSA, staffing shortages and related processing delays lead to erroneous payments. During the current administration, the repayment rate for SSDI beneficiaries was increased from 10% of their monthly benefits to 50%, meaning people can lose half their monthly benefits through no fault of their own. These problems cause real harm. Take Miss G, an older woman who was receiving SSDI benefits due to multiple serious medical conditions. After years of working part-time and reporting her earnings, SSA informed her earlier this year that she was no longer eligible for SSDI benefits retroactive to 2016 and that she owed over $100,000. She spent hours on the phone on hold, was turned away from her local field office, and struggled to navigate the complicated appeals process to resolve this issue. In the meantime, she lost her benefits, which was devastating. Without SSDI, Ms. G was unable to pay her rent. Without Medicare, she was forced to ration her access to health care, foregoing medications that cost her hundreds of dollars per month out of pocket. Her part-time work isn't enough to cover her costs. SSDI was her lifeline. Unfortunately, as SSA loses thousands of experienced, knowledgeable customer service staff, her story is not an aberration. People with disabilities who attempt to work may instead lose out on the very source of income they need to survive. Finally, Congress can act to ensure that people who want to try to return to work still have access to the benefits they rely on. The bipartisan SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act would increase asset limits so that people are better able to save for emergencies and necessary expenses. Congress can also raise the SSI income disregards so that people can keep more of the money they earn. The Clause Off Social Security Act would limit harsh overpayment withholdings caused by SSA's mistakes. And importantly, SSA needs adequate customer service staff and administrative funding so that beneficiaries can get the help they need and trust that their benefits are secure if they attempt to work. In conclusion, seniors and people with disabilities should be able to attempt to work without fear of losing their benefits and should have access to strong customer service. Congress must ensure that disability benefits are accessible, secure, and able to meet the needs of the people they serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your testimonies. And now we'll proceed to the question and answer session. I'll start with myself. Mr. Tyree, navigating the various federal and state support for individuals with disability is a challenge.
Okay, wait a minute. I need to interrupt. I'm so sorry to interrupt. All right, we've got a couple of different things happening. One is there is a MAHA event happening at the moment. So if you would like, I can switch over to that event. This is also very important, but I'll make sure that the link to this is included in the description of the video. But they have the MAHA event and they have a whistleblower for Meta. I think that was actually a pretty short, I think it was like a 20-minute fucking thing. I don't even think it's live still. But anyway. And then the other thing is that the freaking there's been a container ship accident in the port of, hold on, there's so many things happening. It's incredible. It's incredible. Hold on. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So I apologize because this actually is a very interesting, I am incredibly interested in this hearing, so I'm going to want to go back and watch the rest of it. And I'm incredibly glad that they're speaking about it and getting actual advocates from the disabled community to actually speak on it, which hopefully will guide whatever comes out of this committee. But, meeting going in the background. Okay, let me hold on and get one more thing. One more thing. I'm gonna get one more thing. Okay, hold on. Don't everybody in the club getting tipsy. Hold on. Everybody in the club. Anyway, so yeah, there's been this little container accident in Long Beach. I don't see any reports of people being injured, but I can't imagine that there wasn't some. Let me let's see. Oh God, it's Brooke Rollins, the worst person in the universe. Is this his vaccine? Is this his vaccine council kind of thing? Is that what this is? Anybody know? I'm not sure. There's no whatchamacallies. No captions. Okay, let's forgive me. Okay, forgive me. I know.
The Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy.
Oh fuck, man.
Today's report outlines a bold framework to improve
excellent
children's
sound.
Health through 128
That's
targeted
that's
directives and
sarcasm.
strategies. This report is the result of a thorough and robust policy process that relied heavily on the input and expertise of families, farmers, doctors, industry leaders, and innovators. Our commission team met with over 120 groups at the White House, engaged Maha moms directly, and received countless recommendations from industry and advocates that were thoughtfully considered. We also took an unprecedented approach to transparency throughout the entire development of this strategy. This strategy aims to create systemic change to protect and promote children's health through 4 key pillars. 1, driving innovation through research. 2, policies to realign incentives and systems. 3, increase public awareness and knowledge. And 4th, private sector collaboration. These 4 pillars are designed to address root causes and deliver transformative health outcomes for American children. We will now hear a bit more on how each commission member will play a part in carrying out these strategies into the future. But first, I would like to note that in the interest of the Commission's commitment to transparency, we have invited the press to cover this event today, including through a live stream. In one programming note for the media, President Trump will be taking the first follow-up action on a strategy contained in today's report at an event at the White House later this afternoon at 4:30 p.m. And now I'd like to begin by asking Secretary Kennedy to give opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Vince. And you talked about an initial interest by President Trump back in, I saw a tweet back in June of 2000 that he did that was about specifically about the chronic disease epidemic. And I called my campaign manager, Amaryllis Fox. And I said to her, I could have written that tweet. And it was one of the, I had been campaigning a lot of the issues that President Trump and I were campaigning on were the same. A lot of the ideas that he had about war, about the forever wars, about the importance of restoring jobs in the country and revitalizing the American middle class.
When does Tylenol sue this guy?
My biggest preoccupation was the chronic
I
disease
know.
epidemic.
I'm going to try and find another
we are
one.
now the sickest country in the world. We announced this week, CDC announced that America, 76
Hold on, you're going to hate me, but
of Americans
don't
are
hate
suffering
me.
a chronic disease.
Don't hate me. Please don't hate me. I know you're going to hate me, but I hope you don't. I know. I understand. Let's, okay. I don't want to, okay. All right. We're cutting in the middle of it. I'm sorry.
Challenging, entrenched
Of course, it's
interests
not much
in
better.
our society. And so many times I've had discussions with him about a certain injury or illness. and how unpopular it will be.
I think
if we
it's their
talk about the
microphones.
solutions, which are going to hurt certain businesses. And he said, I don't care. He says again and again, I don't care. This is children. We need to save the children. Oh, I'm very, very grateful to work for him. I'm grateful that a lot of these 128
You're requesting brandy.
recommendations
It's a
are
fine girl.
things that
It
I've
is-
been dreaming about my whole life.
No, it is the
I've
microphone.
been working for in congressional campaigns and presidential campaigns for other candidates.
Stop it.
And they get into office and they say, well, we just can't do it.
You know,
A lot of these
he's
things are
just such a
things that I
fucking
never thought about.
asshole, too.
It came from our discussions we met
Right?
with
Can't do anything about the
150 farmers and farm organizations.
That we
met
can't. But
with
I do
every
think there's
kind of
something wrong with the
stakeholder,
whatchamacallits.
with doctors, with patients, with just regular
They
Americans.
finally took a dewormer.
And
Oh my
with school
God, that's
teachers,
right.
with people who are deeply,
Mailing
deeply
Star
concerned
forgot about
what's
that.
happening
He
to
must
our
have,
children.
right? Like, did I remember
There's never
hearing
been
that right?
an effort
I'm
like
kidding.
this across
But as
all
a
the government
crank.
agencies. We had historical,
I know,
unprecedented
his entire
cooperation among
family.
my agency, HHS, with Marty McGarry.
Oh
and
wait!
Dave
Oh
Bachara,
shit!
all
Balls! Hold
working,
on!
hand in
Hold,
glove with
please!
each
Oh,
other,
you're gonna love me.
working with the other
You're gonna love
Rollins at
me.
USDA, with the U.S. Trade Representative, with Lee Zeldin at EPA, and the other cabinet
Okay, hold on. I
secretaries.
think
And
I need
all
a
of
new
us
one.
are aligned. All of us are balancing complex issues
All of us are
with
children
many, many
of the
diverse
future.
stakeholders. We're looking at economic impacts and health impacts and environmental impacts. And we're trying to make a policy that is going
pussy?
to work. And as I said, we
Did
have
he say pussy?
128 recommendations.
Did I miss pussy?
And I'm going to tell you about some of our wins that were accomplished, which are
Where's the
specific
fucking-
items in this report.
Oh my God!
Things that we're going to get done before the end of the year. We have accomplished more already than any health secretary in history. And the accomplishments we're going to have by the end of the year are going to be historic and unprecedented, including removing harmful chemicals from our food, including the 9 petroleum-based food suppliers will either have removed them or have committed deadlines to remove them. Defining for the
I'm
first
watching
time
you,
ultra-processed
Clarice.
food, the front of package labeling.
Wait,
for
I gotta make
ultra-processed
that a little
foods,
different. I'm gonna make that
requiring
like I'm gonna
nutrition and
remove the
metabolic
background
health courses
so that I can
in
put them
medical
in with the
schools,
crowd.
something
Hold on.
that is not
I'll be right
happening
back.
except in a very limited way today.
Yeah. Do you have a report or not?
Closing the grass loophole, improving
grass
food
loophole?
for our military, our schools, and our hospitals, updating water quality standards,
Don't eat the
including
whale's head.
PFAS,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
removing
Don't eat the whale's
Medicaid
head.
quality
Yeah,
metrics to
yeah,
measure
yeah,
real
yeah.
health
Don't eat the
improvements through
whale's head.
fitness and
Yeah,
nutrition,
yeah. Because
working
you're gonna
across the
get a
government
big
to
old
provide more
brain worm.
assistance to
Yeah.
farmers to support
Oh,
soil health,
gras like
unleash
gras,
innovation, and remove the barriers that
like
hamper
foie
small
gras.
farms.
No, sorry.
Removing
Is that what he really
SNAP,
was saying? Wait,
reforming
did I get it
SNAP
right?
by working with states to remove soda and
That's
candy
really.
from the
Oh yeah, he's removing
saying,
soda.
look,
Don't drink soda,
very,
kids.
very aggressive work and encouraging states to
Oh, make foie
we've
gras
all
great again.
across the country, talking to governors,
Make foie
and
gras again.
legislatures to encourage states to file SNAP waiver petitions, establishing again front of pack food labeling for sugars, for sodium, for ultra processed foods, reforming infant formula standards, and acknowledging it. and
Make foie
addressing
gras
vaccine
again.
These are bipartisan reforms. Many of them would be unthinkable 2 years ago. We are focusing narrowly on nutrition.
Remember
and
how the
metabolic
People's
health,
Convoy had so many copies
food
of this guy's
quality,
book? Yes, they were
cumulative
tossing them
exposures,
out of their
gut
trucks. No,
microbiome,
I didn't see it at the
precision
Canadian
agriculture,
Convoy.
mental health. And we're doing
I didn't
all
see
these
that at the
things
Canadian
with
Convoy
each
Badger.
other
I only saw that during the American one.
And we're doing
Not that I
them
saw
very,
every
very
single thing, but I was pretty early
After
on.
this event, I'll be going to the Oval Office.
I'm gonna go right to the
make
Oval
another
Office.
historic
I'm gonna get down on my
announcement
knees.
with the president that is part of these recommendations.
Yeah, yeah,
And
see?
I think, again, it's going to challenge a lot of
The money in the
industry.
bag, see?
Very, very powerful industry.
He means that too. Put the money in the
But
bag.
the president is fearless. So I want to thank
There's your dear leader,
leadership on this committee.
Jim
I
Nalgren.
want to thank all of my colleagues in the cabinet.
Just was flippy floppy.
Lady Overton and
He's
Kelly Haynes,
fucking
who
Brooke
played
Rollins.
critical roles
He's
in
fucking
putting
Brooke
this
Rollins.
list
I'm calling it
together.
right now.
And I want to hand it over to my colleague, Brooke Rollins.
Who I'm fucking.
Well, thank you, Bobby, and thank you,
She
Vince,
is fucking
my
RFK
other cabinet
Jr.
colleague, good friend Lee Zeldin, and everyone here
Okay.
today. It is
That's
another historic day, and I know we are
That's it.
really saying that quite a
Period.
lot, but seemingly every day is unprecedented with continued
With the
aggressive
blowjobs
intentional
and the
actions to save America.
and the trysts and the New
there may
Jersey
not be a
Turnpike
higher
sex and all of
calling
it.
or bigger priority than saving America through
Wait,
bringing
what?
health back to our men, women, and especially our children. It has been an absolute pleasure working with Secretary Kennedy and Administrator Zeldin's teams, along
I
with
wish I had the sexy
so many
music.
other staff that are here. Our Chief of Staff, Kaylee Fuller, is here, and so many of our USDA team that have worked so hard to get to this day alongside the White House teams and with Vince's great leadership and the teams over there. It's a pretty remarkable and historical collaboration. At USDA, we have been honored to be at the table to represent America's farmers and ranchers and rural communities and to discuss how the agricultural community can work together with the health and the medical community to improve the well-being of our kids and our families. Without President Trump's
Okay, I have a
leadership,
better
we would
version.
not have achieved the real and concrete success that we've already seen in making America healthy again.
Whoa,
And today's
bless you.
report makes
Jesus.
it clear
You guys
that
okay?
we really are just getting started. We're at a point
Yeah,
where
don't
we
get
must do
between me and
something to
my
correct
man,
the chronic
honey.
health problems
Never
that Bobby
mind.
so eloquently outlined.
I'll
and
kill
has done
you.
so
I'll
for some
scratch your
time.
eyes out.
When over 75%
I'll pull your
of
Amazon
America's youth
hair.
between 17 and 24 years old
Somebody needs a
are
beach
ineligible
waiver.
for military service because of obesity, poor
I hope they
physical
have tickets
fitness,
to
and mental health
Coldplay.
challenges. You have not only a health epidemic on your hands.
What
you have
event
a
is this?
national
It's the report.
security
It's the
epidemic on your
report.
hands. Over
It's the report.
350,000 American children have been diagnosed with diabetes. As Maha
That's all.
moms, I consider myself one with
I'm a
4
Maha
children.
mom. I'm a
Teenagers
Maha
is
mom.
one of those
I'm a
Maha
Maha
moms across the
mom. I'm a
entire country
Maha
know.
mom.
Behind all of these statistics
And she's a
are mothers
MILF.
and fathers
A
and
Maha
sons
MILF.
and daughters and neighbors and coworkers. Since my confirmation as
Sorry.
Secretary of
I'm
Agriculture,
not trying to shame
we
their
have been taking
extramarital
action on
affairs.
this front.
It
As
couldn't happen
Secretary
to two
Kennedy
nicer
mentioned,
people.
12 states have now been approved historically to implement waivers to restrict the purchase of
Brondo.
junk food and sweetened beverages within our food stamp program called
Yeah,
our
wait, I have
Supplemental
Brondo.
Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps. More have expressed interest.
No, not really.
interest, and I
Not really
continue
anymore.
to call on
Brooke.
all states. This was within the first hour of being confirmed and sworn in. We sent letters to every governor in America saying, send us your ideas. We have an epidemic on our hands.
Really? And did you
And
take
all
those
states,
ideas?
blue
Can you
and
prove to
red,
us that you took those
innovate
ideas?
and put the
Please?
nutrition
Thank you.
back in the Supplemental Nutrition
Whoops, what am I
Assistance
doing?
Program.
Oh, never mind.
We've also been working very closely, and I have to give great credit to Bobby Kennedy. Whenever we have an amazing ag producer, like most recently our dairy processors, who will voluntarily stand up and say, even though it's probably not great for our bottom line, we are in on making America healthy again. And we will no longer have, and we will begin to remove
Wait, what was the thing
artificial
was going on?
colors from all products sold to K through 12 schools for this
What was I
school year.
looking for? I can't
Some of
remember.
America's largest and best known consumer brands have voluntarily committed and have begun removing petroleum food dyes from their products.
Really?
This
Can you
remarkable
prove it?
list includes
Which ones?
Tyson Foods,
Okay.
PepsiCo,
Okay.
Smucker, Kraft Heinz,
Okay.
General Mills, Conagra, Nestle, and
So if we
Hershey.
go ask them, they'll
I'm also
confirm
proud
that?
today to announce the
'Cause it
issuance
didn't really work out that
of a
way last time.
revised farm-to-school request for applications.
What?
This RFA takes multiple steps in support of USDA's initiative to put farmers first and to promote healthy choices, healthy families, and healthy outcomes.
What does that mean?
This year's opportunity streamlines the application process, supports expanding access for small family farms to markets, and infrastructure by facilitating connections to the child nutrition marketplace, which is a huge government-funded marketplace with the opportunity
I'm falling
to really
asleep, girl.
move the market.
Move it along.
Furthermore, the grant program's commitment to educating children about the source of their food and support for agricultural education helps prepare our next generation of farmers. We are utilizing the depth and reach of USDA.
And what's
to
really
make
going on with
America
the farmers?
healthy
I need
again.
to look at the
To date, we have purchased nearly
whatever
$1 billion.
economic indicators.
USDA has purchased nearly $1 billion worth of fresh seafood, fruit, and vegetables from American producers through our Section 32 program. These foods are distributed to food banks and other nutrition programs across the country. We'll continue to actively work with Secretary Kennedy in crafting the dietary guidelines, which will be out very, very soon. And within those guidelines, we will be completely resetting and reworking what we suggest to Americans that has a massive, massive impact
God, we
on
still
how
have a
USDA
really big trade
distributes our
deficit.
programs.
I'm
Federal
confused.
nutrition advice must be sound, simple,
I thought
and
we were
clear.
working towards no
These guidelines
deficits.
will
I'm
prioritize
confused.
whole, healthy, and nutritious foods such as whole fat dairy, fruits, vegetables, and meats, and suggest limiting highly processed foods and those high in sugar. President Trump and our colleagues on the Maha Commission know our current health outcomes, especially for our kids, are unsustainable.
Retail sales
and that
month over month
American
dropped
farmers are at the
0.4%.
heart of the solution. Chronic disease is a challenge in our country. Most American children's diets are dominated by highly processed foods filled with added sugars, unpronounceable ingredients, and additives.
So GDP
We
per
know the
capita
American
is up,
food
but that's probably
system
because we
is
have
the
less
safest
people
in the
now,
world.
right? Because
But
they've
now
illegally
we must
kidnapped
do
all
what
these
it takes
people
to
and
make it
removed
the
them from the country.
healthiest in the world.
Just saying.
As the proud representative of America's farmers and ranchers in Washington, second only to
Boy, I
President
can't
Trump,
wait till they hang
I
you
am
from
so
your own
encouraged by the
petard.
roadmap that this report presents today.
Because they're gonna.
It shows where opportunities
They have
exist
actual
to improve
pitchforks.
technology, research,
Brooke.
and outcomes. America's
The
farmers
farmers
and
have
ranchers
actual
dedicate
pitchforks.
their lives to the noble cause of
See
feeding
the
our
ones in
country and
Arkansas?
the
Wait,
world.
which ones?
And in doing
Which
so,
one
have
was?
created the safest,
Hi,
most
Neil.
affordable,
Where
and
have you
most
been?
abundant
God
food
damn
supply
it. No.
in the world.
I'm really just
And
kidding.
now
I'm
is the
sorry.
time to act. Using the power of the executive branch, the whole of government approach across our entire cabinet in the White House, USDA will continue to deregulate.
That's what I think of
for
every time I
research
see her.
and to promote solutions
It
that not
was
only
our
improve
song,
nutrition
it
programs
was
and their
his
outcomes,
song,
but also regenerative
but it's
agricultural practices and
over.
other conservation programs.
Please,
USDA's
Mr.
upcoming regenerative pilot program is built to address
If you know
on-farm resource
what I
concerns while
mean,
also providing farmers with usable, outcomes-based conservation plans. Additionally, we will leverage existing funding from research agencies to
Makes me think
produce
of old
applied
whatchamacallit.
science
What is she?
informing farmer decision-making.
So they didn't
on
determine anything
regenerative
by September.
agriculture.
Exactly.
It is
They
a
have a
new
list of
day at
recommendations.
USDA. Our farmers and ranchers know that
Get rid of those
and
pesky-
most importantly, President Trump
those pesky
have their
vaccines.
back and that their voices
Make
will
polio
be heard
great again.
as we continue to promote the work of the Make
Whooping
America
cough sounds
Healthy
like fun.
Again Commission. I want to thank President Trump, Secretary Kennedy, Administrator Zeldin, Dr. McCary,
Yeah.
Dr. Bhattacharya
Do
for their
you?
leadership, collaboration, and
Do
teamwork,
you?
and the rest of the leadership here
Dreamwork
today.
makes the
Thank you,
dream
and I look forward to
work.
answering any questions at the end
Can't
of the
wait.
reports.
Oh my God.
Thank you,
Is
Secretary
this gonna
Collins.
go on like
Now we'll
this?
hear the
It is.
perspective from the EPA, Administrator Lee Zeldin.
Lee Zeldin.
Well, thank
He's a
you, Vince.
Pokemon. He reminds
Making
me of a
America Healthy
Pokemon.
Again
I'm not sure which one.
was a mandate that we heard loud and clearly from the American
Really, you
public
heard it from your
last
base,
November.
the Mountain Dew crowd.
It's a
Seriously,
mandate
seriously,
that the American
Zeldin.
public demands.
You fucking loser.
I want to thank Secretary Kennedy for his leadership. You could go back decades, try to recap and count the mile-high mountains he walked over to get to this point today, the mud that he crawled through, the walls that he broke through. His leadership has been imperative throughout this entire process, and I want to thank him, his staff, all of my colleagues who are here, others who were part of this process. and
Why
aren't
isn't
here.
anyone
Think of,
asking
Stephen
this
Miller,
administration
by the way,
about the
with,
balance
with
of
all
trade and
our
why it
Maha
continues to
talks,
go into negative
with him. A lot of people
territory?
don't realize that
Wasn't
about,
that supposed
about
to? And
Stephen.
our
He's a
current
Maha
account
vet.
is I'm not under
This
sure I
effort
understand
is
that.
an important priority in my role as the Trump EPA administrator and as a member of the Maha Commission, but also
Yeah,
as
our
a
debt
dad.
went up too. I'm really
Protecting
confused.
human health and the
What
environment
are we doing with
while
that money?
powering America's comeback
Where's
isn't
that
just
money?
about serving Americans today. It's about ensuring future generations inherit clean air, land, water, and the foundation for healthy lives. The American public can count on President Trump, can count on Secretary Kennedy, and can count on those around this table to help Maha moms and dads across America not just get the answers they deserve, but know that they have a partner in the Trump administration to do something about their concerns. At the Trump EPA, we are accelerating innovative and vetted crop protection products to enhance an American system of agriculture that is already the best in the world. At the same time, EPA is aggressively confronting and addressing the threat of banned pesticides imported or smuggled into the United States from China and elsewhere. These are highly toxic substances that can be a priority in line with the Make America Healthy Commission to protect Americans from this threat.
See,
This
he's a
year, the Trump
Pokemon. He
EPA
malfunctioned.
rejected 6 herbicide products from Sharda CropChem because the company's applications had multiple errors,
Sharda. He said Sharda.
including wrong calculations, studies that didn't match the actual ingredients, and other data problems. When the EPA asked the company to fix these issues, they didn't respond, so the applications were rejected. We can ensure the safe use of the chemicals EPA regulates, not those illegally imported or otherwise proven to be dangerous. The safe use of chemicals is responsible for transporting, building, feeding, and powering the great American comeback. At the Trump EPA, to ensure more timely reviews, we are increasing scientific capacity in our Office of Chemical Safety and Pollution Prevention and Office of Water. We're also looking at new ways to use advanced technology and science to inform decisions. We are committed to ensuring all work conducted by EPA is consistent with gold standard science, including the work of our chemicals, air, and water programs. Together with USDA and in partnership with the private sector, EPA is working to advance precision agriculture. I've seen demonstrations in my travels throughout the U.S. using drones, computer-assisted spray technologies, and robotic monitoring. And by the way, during those travels across the country, especially over the course of these last couple of months, and I heard Secretary Rollins touching on this shortly before we gathered out here, the feedback from America's farmers, heaping praise on Secretary Kennedy, on Kelly Means, on Dr. Heidi Overton for all of the meetings, the consultation over the course of these last few months. We've heard it from states all across America, and it really shows just how wide-ranging and thoughtful Secretary Kennedy and his team have been throughout this process. By focusing on working with our partners at USDA and HHS, especially in permitting, crop protection, and agricultural inputs, EPA can directly support healthier outcomes for children.
I mean, our debt,
Prioritizing
our
new approach
debt
methods
is going
moves us
up.
away from animal testing.
I mean, tariffs are
and
not
will
going to
provide
offset
new
the
tools
debt.
to look at impacts of chemical exposures.
Not even the
including
cuts are going to.
cumulative exposures.
I mean, that money, because that
This
money
strategy
hasn't.
outlines
Oh boy.
the keys to success
boy.
from pro-growth policies that advance research to drive innovation, to private sector collaboration and increased public awareness. I look forward to continuing to work collaboratively across the federal family to ensure our kids and our environment are protected. This approach is directly targeted at solving the crisis of America's
They might try under
childhood
promising
chronic
once in a while.
disease.
You're right, Jane.
I want to assure that ultimately the safety, especially that of children,
That's his daughter.
that science,
Prove it. No, I'm
and the law
kidding.
will all guide the great work we're doing and we're going to continue to do over the
Is she
course
still
of
behind
this
him? Oh my
administration.
God.
America will continue to be the
So is
energy,
Putin.
industrial, and agricultural power of the world. And we can continue this while ensuring we
And
have the
Lee
healthiest
Zeldin is
children.
personally making
Thank
us
you to
all
the
sick
American
by
public,
destroying
for putting
every
President Trump in the
environmental
Oval Office.
protection
Every day that
regulation
he is
this
there,
little
working
pissant
closely with this team
can
that
wave
he
his
has
dick at.
assembled with
Sorry,
all those-
that came out.
Those
I didn't
amazing,
mean to say
passionate
that,
Maha
but
moms and
you know
dads
what I
all
mean.
across America every day
You're
We will do our
a
part working
gross
together to
person
make
who
America
lost the
healthy again.
governorship of New York because you're an idiot.
Thank you, Lee. We will now hear from Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, the director of the National Institutes of Health.
Thank you.
In quotes.
When we talked about the Maha report last time, the first version of the Maha report,
You mean the one with all the fake
the
studies?
nightmare scenario that we face, which is that our children are going to be less healthy than we are. They're going to lead shorter, less healthy lives than we are. That's the picture of health of our kids in this country on the eve of President Trump's election. I'm so proud to be part of an administration, President Trump, Secretary Kennedy, for their leadership in addressing that stark reality. What this report represents is a path out of that nightmare scenario. 128 concrete steps to take, many of which involve excellent science, gold standard science, and I thank Michael Kratsios for his leadership of the OSDP for articulating what gold standard science really means. You might ask yourself, well, do we really need excellent science to say don't feed our kids so much sugar? Don't go out and get some exercise every once in a while. I mean, that's all true. There's common sense things you can do, but there are real scientific issues that need to be addressed. Why are autism rates going up so quickly? What can we do about it?
Are you kidding me?
What's the answer
This
for
guy runs it?
type 1 diabetes
He doesn't.
for kids?
Oh my God.
What are the long-term effects of the rising use of antidepressants in children? The problem of ADHD. You can go on and on and on and on. What you have is a picture of real questions that need to be answered with excellent science. Even in nutrition alone, you can go back in history and say, okay, our eggs. You remember when eggs were bad for you? I grew up with
ag scientists.
with a phobia
Such
of
fascinating
eggs,
people.
because
I
because
love
apparently
talking to
cholesterol is
people
bad,
like
but now
that.
they're a superfood. I don't know if everyone's read my friend and colleague's Marty McCary's book Blind Spots, but what it lists is essentially
And is it rate of diagnosis, do you think?
A catalog
You
of
fucking
of
idiot.
scientific failure because they haven't addressed the key questions that American parents that really want answered. How can we keep our kids healthy? What we have in this report is a commitment of this administration to address those questions with gold standard science and to provide answers to them so that when we look back years from now, we'll say this was the dark days. And in fact, now America's children will look forward to a brighter future, healthier, and will live longer lives than we at the table will. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Now we'll hear from Dr. Marty McCary, who is the Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration.
Thank you, Director Haley and Secretary.
And he's got a
Kennedy,
great deal for you on a love seat today.
Seldon,
Come
all my
on down to
colleagues
Marty McCary's.
on the Maha Commission. This is an amazing day, and this is an amazing report. And let me tell you why. Because doctors are thirsty for this fresh new agenda. We can tell that something's not right. We've done a terrible thing to doctors in this country. The healthcare system has put them on a hamster wheel where we are treating, we're prescribing, we're operating. I was on this wheel. And then we code and we build.
And then I met
we're measured
RFK
by
Jr.
our
and he
throughput.
slipped something in my drink and it was
we do get
blue and here I
inspired by the
am.
might of modern medicine and the drugs that we can prescribe, but sometimes we leave demoralized. The more pancreatic cancers we removed, the more pancreatic cancers there are. The more pain meds we prescribe,
Yeah,
the more
get off
pain
that hamstring.
the more GI meds we prescribe, the more abdominal pain there is. I'm not suggesting it's causal, but the medical community
you
is
heard him right.
thirsty
What do you want?
to talk about the root causes that we don't talk about because historically they've just not been a part of the NIH agenda until now. The NIH funding agenda sets the agenda of research in every university hospital in the country. And we've not talked about these big issues until today. And that's why I got off the hamster wheel and responded to this vision of Secretary Kennedy and President Trump. And I'm very grateful. Now, for the first time, we're
should be
talking about
asking
the
questions.
microbiome and food as medicine and micronutrients and soil and microplastics and all sorts of topics that we know are central to the health of kids. Screen time.
Yeah, hamster wheel.
Well, we're
no,
doing
but it
our
sounds
part
like
at
I
the
think
FDA.
hamstring was funnier.
and I'm just going to run through a quick list of what we've done. I've been there 5 months, but we are doing everything we can to contribute to the MAHA agenda. On the food side, we've worked closely with USDA. We took the action on petroleum-based food dyes, approved natural dyes, 4 already this year. Typically, the FDA would approve 1 or 2 every several years. We approved 4 in the last 5 months. Took action on the GRAS standard, changed the BRICS requirement for sugar with orange juice, allowing more American oranges to be used for orange juice instead of importing oranges as frequently as was required by this arcane regulation. Initiated a chemical review. We're working with USDA to change the broken food pyramid, maybe one of the greatest sources of misinformation in modern American history. We're ending the 50-year war on natural saturated fat.
Your boss says, hold my beer.
Schools, by regulation, are not supposed to have a certain amount of whole milk. That makes no sense scientifically. It's been a nutrition guidance by the government based not on evidence, but on dogma.
Did these guys have like
medical dogma,
dairy
challenging dogma on
lobby
infant
money?
formula? Another one of our big goals is to deliver more cures and meaningful treatments to the American public. And so we have taken action to reduce animal testing, to speed up the time for approvals in synchronization with EPA, also taking action to reduce animal testing. It's the right thing to do. We began a national priority review pilot. We're going to get decisions out in weeks instead of nearly a year. We're going to see amazing, meaningful treatments, I believe, in the next year and 2 years that are going to blow people away because of this new pilot program. We started a pre-check program to promote the domestic manufacturing of medications as a national security issue. We're ending conflicts of interest on expert panels. We are setting clear, transparent vaccine regulation for the COVID vaccine. We're using gold standard science and common sense.
I like Bhattacharya's reactions right next to him, like,
therapy,
oh my
had an
God,
amazing
really?
roundtable on cell
Oh
and
my
gene
God.
therapy.
No orange
Last
juice?
week we made
Oh my
all of our
God.
rejection letters
No whole
public. If
milk?
we don't
Oh my
accept a
God.
drug, the public
Pizza
deserves
sticks?
to know why.
Oh my
So for the
God.
first time in history, those letters are public, so the public can see it and keep us accountable. We are focused on rare diseases and incorporating AI. We are making adverse events disclosed on a daily, real-time basis. And we took action on concentrated fluoride for babies that is affecting the microbiome. And we're just getting started.
We're going to fuck
We're
it all
also
up,
very
okay,
focused on the
people?
opioid
Strap
addiction
in,
crisis.
sweethearts.
It's not over.
Because it's
just
going to
because
hurt.
There's other news. We
Hope
have,
it's not your
draft
baby.
Guidance for non-opioid pain medication that is going out tomorrow. We've taken action on 7-OH and opioid in most vape stores in America. We're calling it out, initiating the scheduling at DEA. We are talking about vape stores, trying to educate parents. We have now issued a number of statements on gas station heroin.
I have yet to be in a shop that sells vapes that sells to minors. I have yet, in many, many
I
states,
just want to say thank you for the
seen
privilege
that.
of being a part of this
Come on
incredible
now.
commission. I think this is an incredible
Is that the
day
is that the
for the medical community in the United
convenience store shit?
Thank you, Marty. We'll now hear from Jim O'Neill, who is the deputy at the HHS.
Thank you. All Americans deserve to be healthy, and we're going to get there.
What?
And this commission,
I don't know if gas station
and this
heroin
team
is.
of agencies is going to help us achieve the goal of making America healthy again.
I
I'm
don't
very
trust
grateful to
him.
President Trump
Don't stay
for
away
giving
from
us
me.
that mandate and this
Stay away
commission.
from my child.
Undersecretary Kennedy, HHS,
Yeah, it's
supports
not to be
rigorous
confused
science
with
and radical transparency.
heroin bought
and we need that
around
everywhere,
the gas station.
But nowhere is that more pressing or more valuable than at CDC. Over the past 15 years, sadly, CDC presided over rising chronic disease and flatlining longevity.
Excuse me?
And trust in our public health agencies collapsed. Together, we're working to refocus
No,
CDC
honey.
to its
No,
original
you did
1946
that.
mission
You made that.
of protecting Americans from infectious
Whole
disease.
Foods heroin has better quality control.
I think that's working.
But costs a lot more.
To
No,
do
we
so,
can hear you.
We must earn the trust of the public through integrity and radical
It
transparency.
might be kratom.
We know
kratom,
chronic disease
kratom?
made COVID
I don't know.
especially
There's
deadly
apparently vapes
because
in
of the interaction
convenience
between
stores.
infectious
I'm making shit up right now. I don't even know.
Tools that are meant to fight disease, such as vaccines, antibiotics, and therapeutics, can save lives, can also trigger adverse events. in some patients, and that truth must no longer be denied or distorted.
I don't think it is denied.
We're bringing transparency and research to this critical connection.
I think it's
We're also
pretty well
investigating
known.
the health effects of substances, including microplastics, fluoride, and PFAS.
And
Several
what?
childhood cancers have
PFAS?
rising incidence among American children, likely due to changes in diet and
Marty.
environment.
Oh yeah, something
CDC
else.
has set up a nationwide childhood cancer environment program, a pediatric cancer training initiative to address the knowledge gap about hazardous exposures and childhood cancer among pediatric oncology providers. We're researching the connections between pediatric oral health with chronic disease and cognitive development. We're also reviewing financial links between our science agencies and food and pharma companies. We require more transparency to prevent regulatory capture and fund independent research that is objective and unbiased.
Well, I mean,
Heart
then
disease,
you're
diabetes,
throwing out the baby with the
obesity,
bathwater.
and other diet-related illnesses
sir.
kill 7 out of
And
10
you're
Americans.
frightening.
Nutrition drives
And
disease,
what's with the
and it must
camera
be
at
at the
the
core of our
profile?
response,
What the
beginning with
fuck?
medical education. We're reviewing and updating regulations on healthy food in hospitals. Following the release of our
What?
new dietary guidelines, which we're
Improving
developing
your
with our friends at
local hospital
USDA, Head
cafeteria?
Start will promote healthy breakfast and lunch for our nation's most vulnerable children. I would like to thank all of our peer agencies here,
Oh, I can't wait to see how they do
CDA,
that.
Department of Agriculture, DPC, EPA, for working with us on this commission, on this report, and on all of these important projects. New and better science can help Americans to make better choices to prevent and treat infectious disease and chronic disease, and to lead longer and happier and healthier lives.
Thanks, Jim.
I
Thank
feel
you,
like
Jim.
I still haven't heard
We'll now hear
one
from
specific
Pierre
thing.
Yared, who is the Vice Chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors.
It's a privilege to be part of this commission and an honor to be part of this notable event. I
Oh,
wanna
Vice
thank
Chair. I was
the
like, you're not
President for
Stephen
his
Moran.
leadership and Secretary Kennedy for your commitment to health and in particular to the health of our children. There are many notable programs and
I don't want
initiatives
these guys
within
anywhere
this
near my
report.
children.
And I want to
Okay?
highlight one very important piece of it, which is personally very important to me as a parent, which is the mental health of our children. We are in a very serious situation when it comes to mental health. Based on various metrics, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, we have seen a deterioration of these measures over the past decade. And this is an unacceptable situation. Mental health issues are the #1 cause of death for our teenagers. And this is a very significant problem that our nation must address. This report highlights numerous initiatives to address this issue. In particular, it highlights the importance of collecting and creating an infrastructure of data for various researchers in order to better understand the causes of this mental health crisis.
I'm sorry, what?
And focus on the types of solutions. And the idea
A database
is that
of what?
This report and this initiative can provide families, can provide caretakers and educators with the necessary tools
I'm
to
sorry,
help address
what?
these issues with our children.
No.
We cannot stand
Let's
by.
stay
and
on the
let
database, sir.
Current situation go on. We need to address this issue, and I want to thank the Commission for making this so important.
Excuse me?
Thank you, Pierre. We'll
What
now hear
database?
from Michael Kratsios, who is the Director of the White House Office
God,
of
this
Science
is like
and Technology.
some other idiots.
Thank you so much, Vince, and thank you, Secretary Kennedy, for hosting us today and for your leadership in making the health of the American people a priority for this administration. The Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy report is great, and I am thrilled to be celebrating it with you and other colleagues here today. One of my primary tasks
Especially
as
Stacy,
the White House
who
OTP
I
director
was just
is
doing in the
overseeing
executive
execution of the President's vision for U.S. leadership in artificial intelligence in ways that benefits all Americans. I am very thrilled that our MAHA strategy makes the integration of AI in cancer treatment a priority for HHS research. I truly believe that, trained on the appropriate data sets, the statistical pattern recognition that constitutes our cutting-edge AI models will revolutionize early diagnosis, personalized treatment planning, real-time health monitoring, and preventive care in ways that will really transform patient outcomes for Americans of all ages, but especially for America's kids. I'm very confident that AI will be a critical part of preventing and treating pediatric cancer because it's already being used to fight cancer in adults. A translational AI group in the NIH called AI and AI Resource is
Yeah,
currently
exactly,
developing AI
Oren.
models that
Hello.
help with object detection and segmentation in biomedical research, in the interpretation of imaging studies for cancer diagnosis and prognosis, and the discovery of novel pathological biomarkers
One for advisory
in
committee
image
conflict
data.
of interest. Another
The White
for
House is
GPs who
eager to
receive
support
money from
HHS
industry.
as it invests in
Interesting.
research that uses
For
AI
what
systems
data?
to uncover
Well, let me
causes
guess.
of
Is it going to be
cancer, identify
anonymized?
cancer risks as soon as possible, and intervene before cancer develops. We are thrilled to partner with HHS and NIH to further develop AI-assisted gold standard methods for using existing
I mean,
data
I think that's
and
a great
emerging
idea,
technologies to tackle
but
the
I don't
crisis
trust
of
you
childhood
guys to
chronic
implement
disease
it.
and pediatric
Can we be
cancer.
honest? You're not the ones
The
I
limiting
think should do
factor
it.
in AI's ability to improve medical outcomes right now is not the technology itself.
Because you've kind of
but the
already
slow
proven that you don't
adoption
have a
these
lot of
tools,
ethics
particularly in
around
established
disclosure.
institutions and processes. We in the federal government have an opportunity to support, incentivize, and encourage experiments in AI adoption by the healthcare sector and to share best practices and lessons learned with the rest of the country. As a new dad, I have felt the responsibility of my role in new ways in recent weeks.
Gathering.
OSTP coordinates science and technology policy across the administration, and that includes implementation of gold standard scientific research principles and the careful pro-innovation frameworks that can form the foundation of healthier lives for America's children. I'm proud of the work my team is doing and grateful for the dedication that all members of the MAHA Task Force, especially you,
Can
Secretary
you
Kennedy,
discuss the
have
analysis you
demonstrated
did in
every
order to
day
make
as we seek
decisions
to
on
protect
cutting certain
America's health
programs?
for generations to
Can you show us the data behind those decisions, please? Thank
Thank you, Michael. That concludes the round robin.
No?
Secretary Kennedy, would you like to give some?
No,
closing
what are we
remarks?
doing? Is he going to say something else? Because I'm going to skip ahead.
I'm very proud of the work of this commission, and I'm very proud of the and the last match.
Two questions. One, pest noticed. Is there any
All this stuff gets implemented as quickly as possible. I'm very, very grateful to President Trump for his support, for his enthusiasm, and for driving us to make these things happen yesterday. So thank you all very much.
I think at this time we're going to take some questions. Is that right, Stephanie?
She has a composition book, like from 3rd grade. I mean, no hate, but really?
Hello? Okay. So if press can please keep your questions to relevant of what we're talking about today.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We'll
No
pass around
problem.
this mic.
Another well-oiled machine by this administration.
Hey, Kara Castronova from Lindell TV.
No!
And my question is, are there any educational...
No! Kara Castronova. Oh, my God. From Lindell TV. Kara Castronova was helping the J6ers. Well, actually, she was scamming the J6ers, but originally she positioned it as helping them, but ended up taking money. But anyway, yeah, she's a piece of shit. Here we go.
Programs planned for children in schools to educate the next generation on food safety, because so many kids think that alleged food, food that's marked as healthy, is actually healthy when it's not. And that's something that I really noticed.
What are we
Is
going
there
to do
any
about
plan in
that?
collaboration with the Department of Education on possibly visiting classrooms and working with the next generation hands-on
She's
in a
volunteering to
classroom
do
setting?
it. Kara Castronova, she was down there with Randy.
Council on Sports Fitness and Nutrition to partner with the Department of Education, HHS, USDA on a Healthy Schools campaign that will
Oh my God, microphones.
schools starting this fall.
She went down to Freedom Corner a couple times.
Thank
Then
you all
as
for
soon as
doing
it got a
this.
little
Appreciate
hot,
it.
she
My name is
scooted.
Lisa Desjardins from the PBS NewsHour. Also the mom of a 9-year-old, so you have my attention already. 2 questions. One, pesticides has been something that you've mentioned as a concern. You mentioned the 6 pesticide applications that you rejected. I believe that's out of thousands, though. There are some who share that concern, who expected this report to be more critical, to do more specific. on pesticides. Can you answer that concern? And the other is a debate over children's health. You mentioned suicides, especially among teenagers. There is a debate over mental health and firearms in this country and the impact on children's health. Was there ever a discussion of looking at firearms and the health of our children related to that? So those two questions, pesticides and firearms. Thank you.
No.
I'll answer
Next.
the question. The firearms question, we're doing research. You know, the firearms question is a complex question, and it's not an easy question. The violence
No,
is
it's
what
not.
we're concerned with.
No, it's not.
Is a sudden onset of violence that began in the 1990s, where people would do something that has never been happened in history, which is somebody walks into a school or a church or a theater and starts shooting strangers. We had lots of guns when we were kids. We had comparably the same number of guns. Nobody was doing that. We had gun clubs at my school. Kids brought guns to school and were encouraged to do so. And nobody was walking into schools.
These are all
and shooting
lies.
people. So, and this is not happening in other countries. Switzerland has a comparable number of guns as we do, and the last mass shooting they had was 23 years ago. We're having mass shootings every 23 hours. Oh, there are many, many things that happened in the 1990s that could explain these. One is the dependence on psychiatric drugs, which is, in our country, is unlike any other country in the world. It could be, there could be connections with video games, with social media. There are a number of things, and we are looking at that at NIH. So we are doing studies now. We're initiating studies to look at the correlation
no such
and
luck,
connection, potential connection between over-medicating our kids and this violence, and these other possible co-founders as well. Your other question, you want to answer later?
EPA is committed to using the best available science, and you heard that from a number of our speakers today, the importance of seeking out the gold standard of science. As I covered during my remarks, we are concerned from an enforcement standpoint, the use of illegal pesticides, the importing of pesticides into the country, and working with other partner agencies to crack down on that. You heard Mr. Kratsios talking about AI, and I'm grateful for his leadership on that front. We're incorporating important IT upgrades and AI upgrades inside the chemical
But he
office.
was a
We
great
inherited
simp for the
a backlog in January
gun
of
lobby.
14,000 pesticide reviews. That was the backlog. 500 in the new chemical reviews. One of the needs
So what
on
are you
top
doing?
of updating the IT is also to add scientists to the chemicals office, which we are doing. We are
Did you
increasing
just fire a
the
bunch of
bandwidth
people?
and capacity inside of that office.
How many did you
I
fire
also
from the
touched on
other
my remarks
departments?
with regards to precision agriculture? Just about a week and a half ago, I was at San Diego State University, where they were showing off their first in the
good point,
nation
Oof, on the
precision agriculture
postal.
program, which is now being replicated at universities elsewhere around the country, training up that next generation of farmers. It's very important, not just economically, but also for health, safety, environmental reasons, for these farmers to be able to utilize these new technologies, which are expensive. But the biggest hurdle, the biggest obstacle that is being encountered is just the need
That's
for
right.
more advocacy
The
and
rapture is
education
coming.
of the
Don't worry.
infrastructure that is out there, the innovations
Not sure how
that
the
are out there.
144,000 fits
But again,
into it
it's
all,
important
but
for us to follow the best
trust
available
and believe.
science, to pursue
Faith
that
over
gold
fear.
standard science, and that's a commitment that we
Faith over
often met about
science.
here.
I mean-
The one other point I would mention too is what I noticed in my conversations with farmers is a strong desire to pursue any
Well, where are you
opportunity
having these
to
conversations with
improve
farmers?
health for our children, to improve access to a healthier food supply.
So what's the answer?
There's a
Are
lot
you
of
going
pride
to, do you have a
in,
schedule? Do
the
you have
product
a
that
triage
these
plan?
farmers,
What is the plan?
are producing and supplying to America's families. But the argument that I've heard at farms all across this country is that they proudly consider themselves to play a very key tip of the spear role in feeding America to make
oh
sure
my
that
God,
America
this is not even
is healthy
talking.
again.
Okay.
So I think this is maybe more personal to them than just about anyone
Well,
else.
let's see what Brooke Rollins has to say.
And that passion clearly came across in the great meetings that Callie Means, Secretary Kennedy, Dr. Heidi Overton have had over the course of the last couple of months on this
You
topic.
say
and so
Christiane
many others
Northrup,
that
I'm going
relate
to
it.
vomit right here.
Can I add to that?
Wait, Brooks wants to add to that.
On pesticides, 3 things. First,
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
EPA
Let me tell you.
is arguably the most rigorous,
Except for the fact that we're
the
cutting a
most
bunch of
data-backed,
regulations. Yeah.
the most scientifically
But we are
deep
cutting a bunch
review
of
process in
regulations,
the
but
world.
don't pay attention to that.
And
Don't,
to
no,
approve any
no.
product that is used by
Yes.
our farmers,
Right.
it will have gone through
Really?
years
Even
upon
if we,
years
is
upon
that true?
years of research.
Miss,
That's the first
Miss
thing.
Rawlings,
The
is
second
that
thing
true
is
given the
it
fact
a
that you have
perfect
eliminated
process?
a number
Arguably,
of
there is no
regulations
perfect
to
process,
test the environment?
but it is a strong process that our
Ma'am.
farmers stand by, and a crop protection tool such as pesticides is absolutely
don't
essential
take our Roundup.
for
That's
America
what she's
not
trying
to
to say.
compromise our food supply system.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have
at
to
this
kill the
point.
children
That's
in
the
order to
second
feed
thing.
the children.
The
Because
third
then we
thing,
have to
and
kill the
already
children.
mentioned,
I know. I should
though,
probably get
is
rid of
with
that.
new technology.
I'm so sorry.
It is
It was the better volume.
incredible with the deployment of AI across this great nation and specific to agriculture. You can send a
Glyphosate is a
drone
herbicide, Brooke.
across a field of corn.
All she knows is Russian
and that
eggs.
drone can tell
okay?
you down to a stalk of corn where a particular bug is that needs to be eradicated. It will completely change the game as we're moving forward on what our crop protection tools look like, on how we continue to produce the
Okay,
safest,
I'm gonna
most
call
abundant,
this one because
the
I
best
can't.
food in the
The best damn food in the whole USA. Isn't that song? I'm the happiest girl in the whole USA. Will he take Canadian money? I don't know. Doesn't matter if we have nobody working on the farm. I know, like I feel like we're waiting for like shoes to drop, right? Like there's all these shoes up in the air and we're waiting for them to drop. I can't watch any more of that. I'm so sorry. I'll make sure I link it. I'm the happiest girl in the whole USA. All I know is that God always needs money. That's right, Oren. Praise be. Thank you. Oh my gosh, we did it. We did it. We really, really did it. Okay, so tomorrow morning I will see you bright and early, and I will be on time tomorrow. I apologize. This morning I was 15 minutes late because I woke up at 6:30 and went, wait, what? Sal's got a video of the Long Beach thing. Oh, yes. The video from Long Beach. I hope everybody's okay. Oh, it's what a world. What a world. What a world. What a world. Well, I will see you tonight on Discord for the documentary How to Start a Revolution, which probably is going to be pretty timely. And then I will see you tomorrow morning. I know we're finished. I'm sorry, Neil. It's nothing personal. Those farmers should convoy all their disastrous crops to DC. I think that's a great idea. I think that's why God invented the debit card swiper that they hand around in church. Oh my God. It's Tuesday. Nuh-uh, gas is $1.89. Look it up. No, it's not. I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, I'll see you tonight on Discord. Watch my socials for the announcement of the movie and the links, etc. But please, if I may see you tonight, that'd be lovely. And then also, I'll see you tomorrow morning for Wake and Bake, the early version. All right? Thank you. Thank you for enduring RSBN. I do apologize. You guys had to put up with that. All right, grazie. Grazie mille. Mille grazie. All right, love you guys. Have a really wonderful Tuesday if I don't see you. Bye. See you later.